All right, all right, all right. What's up, folks? What's up? What's up? Let's get into it. I've been wanting to cover this topic for a little bit of while, man. Kind of get back more towards criminal justice shit, which is what I used to do on a couple of the other channels that I used to have. For those who've been following a long time, remember me doing that type of content, covering crime stories and shit like that. And I always like doing that because that is the kind of stuff that I watch. Into all that investigative shit. I like it. Uh Not a person who sits on here and talk about, man, free this person and the injustice and all this and that shit. I don't rock with all that shit. I don't rock with excuse making. I don't rock with always throwing the racial shit at shit. I use, you know, stay very valid when some shit is racial related and involves that. Every black person sitting in prison ain't in there because they fucking black. So I don't play that shit. Unless you can point it out and you can see that it's concrete, this person is innocent of that, I go with that. You just got to keep things real. I believe in 100%, being 100 on shit. Don't believe in conspiracy bullshit, none of that kind of crap. So we're gonna look at and as we go through this list of the 700 plus people on death row, to see we identify racial disparities in this shit. But this report is from 2019. I'm not sure if they have an updated one, but this is the one that I found. This is the one that I found. That we'll go through go through the full list. But they have this one thing I see. So let me read this article. Governor Gavin Newsom signed an executive order to impose a moratorium on the death penalty in California, which I don't rock with that shit. I don't believe in none of that soft shoe weak shit. I don't know why you putting a moratorium out. Some of these little scumbag, fucked up ass individuals have done effed up shit to people. They need to be put up on that damn bed and gotten rid of. It's just simple as that. So I don't know why, man. And it's crazy when you look at it. The last person killed that they used to make an example out of was Tookie, and there's real holes in the investigation into his case as well. But if he is responsible, which I have heard people close to him stated that he is responsible for the white guy out there, was that in Whittier, but the 3 deaths of the Asian folks, not so much, which led to his death sentence. And so the order will, so let me continue. It says the order will prevent the state from putting prisoners to death by granting temporary reprieve to all 737 condemned inmates on California's death row, the largest in the nation. So California has the largest, which I didn't think that. I thought Texas or somebody would have that shit. But I guess maybe they don't have theirs because they kill their actual guilty ass, wicked ass inmates. It says below are men and women currently on death row. It says click on the photos to learn more about the crimes that put them there. So we're gonna click on that. Let me see, filter. We don't need filter. Let me go to the ones that are too insane to execute. So in California's death row, it says too insane to execute. It says on an August afternoon in 1984, Linda Marie Baltazar Pasnick, goddamn me names chick got, a 27-year-old aspiring model, says was running errands before a fashion competition when she pulled into the driveway, says when she pulled through the drive-through at a Der Wiener Schnitzels. Oh, that's the real German name. Says as she was waiting in line, says the panhandler pushed his face into her window and she shooned him away. Says Ronnie McPeters came back with a gun, leaned into her open window and fired 3 times. Says then as her car rolled forward and she cried for help, she shot twice more. McPeters spent the next 9 months, says in the rubber room of the Fresno jail. Says he set fire and assaulting jailers. He told a psychiatrist he was filming a commercial. His bizarre behavior escalated at San Quentin State Prison's death row. Says where in months he fell into a stupor, smearing feces on the wall. Says the floor and himself. Well, they should have killed this motherfucker. I don't know why they get these people act all fucking crazy like they deserve to be in some goddamn asylum. I thought they was gonna show a picture of them. Nigga can smear shit on the wall and they act like the nigga can't die. Man, fuck these weak ass people in this goddamn criminal system. Get rid of any fool who can. His mental health ain't stopping him from learning how to kill a motherfucker. Kill this motherfucker. Oh, wait, let me see. I think I can click on their pictures to see who they are. Kill these motherfuckers. So this is the stupid ass nigga right here. Big bozo head motherfucker. Big bozo stupid head looking motherfucker is the one who did it in 1987. He shot a woman at so this is out there where Cuzzo at. Says shot a woman at a Fresno hot dog stand, which is Wiener Schnitzel. Says that she refused to give him a handout. Sorry, motherfucker. Says competent. Says, what is that? Malodorus says, with a history of refusing to leave his cell, McPeter's condition includes periods of psychosis, delusional beliefs, hallucinations, and smearing himself in feces. So he nasty skin motherfucker. Like, I mean, throw him in the chamber, get rid of this motherfucker and get it over with. Give her family what they've been seeking. So his is legal. Says McPeter's 1995 federal appeals was stayed in 2003. So the federal judge since 2007 has pressured California, says, to settle. Attorney General Kamala Harris now seeks to remove McPeter's from death row. Remove him for what? This old retarded head motherfucker up out of here. All right, continue on to the next dummy. Too insane to execute. So let's see. So since California restored the death penalty in 1978, jurors in the state have condemned some 900 convicted murderers. Of those, the state has executed 13, says, and only 16 more have exhausted their appeals. Currently, 747 remain on death row, mostly men housed in San Quentin State Prison. Says there are as old as 85, says, they are as old as 85 and have been there as long as 37 years. Says some 24 require wheelchairs or walkers, and at least one is confined to a bed. Says one is confined to bed and diapers. Fuck them. Who gives a fuck? We supposed to feel sorry the nigga in diapers and shit. Like, get the fuck out of here. Says complicating matters. Executions have been stopped for the last 10 years by legal battles over lethal drug protocol. So now they worried about how nice the drugs are to kill them. We want the drugs to be nice, but when you hear the crimes these motherfuckers committed, who gives a fuck? Like, these fools are too soft shoot on shit. They about as bad as some of these mothers who make excuses for these sorry ass kids they raise. Matthew says right now there are only 578 to 580 inmates on death row in California. Executions are still paused, says, because of the 2019 moratorium. Says that number is still the highest in the United States. Yeah, they need the number should be lowered once they start putting people in the damn chamber. And we're gonna see the people on here, because I think majority of the people that, when I was looking at this list, a majority of these people on this list are white. So schizophrenia, psychosis, paranoia, says, are these California death row inmates too crazy to execute? How the fuck you too crazy to execute? But your craziness makes you super efficient at taking someone's life. It's crazy to me. That's these old stupid ass doctors they bring in there during these cases on these people. Let's go to Joseph Dank. So here a little stanky. This fool look like he old stanky ass dude. Diagnosed with schizophrenia, paranoid type. So you can act paranoid, all this shit. They say, oh, you can't kill him. Man, let me be the governor of California anywhere. I wouldn't give a fuck. You kill somebody, you got this condition, you really don't belong nowhere. You are fucking exempt from ever re-entering society. You can't even re-enter society. So therefore, you should pay the maximum penalty. That's no different than the stupid shit these prosecutors out there in Colorado did with that Chris Watts punk who did that shit to his family. This punk Scott Peterson, who in California, one who did that shit to his lady, pregnant and shit. The piece of shit in Idaho did that to them college kids. All these motherfuckers. So he was condemned in 1990. So let's see what he did. His crime, says Doug, the Koreatown Slayer. Dink Jewel says Dank says Dank drew a life sentence, says, for the 1986-87 killing of 6 Los Angeles transit. So he's killing a bunch of homeless people, 6 of them. Says Dan was condemned for strangling his first prison cellmate within 3 hours. How the fuck is this nigga alive? Man, what the hell going on in California, man? How the hell is this fool alive? This nigga is efficient at killing motherfuckers. But then California gonna say he too crazy to fucking get put in the chamber. Man, you'll see how crazy he act when y'all putting that shit in the system and see how he don't act crazy no more. Get the fuck out of here. So it's competence. Untreated until 2011, Danks refused to leave his cell. Says scream what is that? Vitriolic rants all night. Says threw urine on guards. The guards should have beat the shit out of him. Says and believe rats gnawed his teeth. Says in his legal, let's see, Danks' current state appeal says which contend he is unfit for execution. Says has been waiting a decision since 2012. Now, this only thing where Trump comes into play, where I can rock with the little idiotic fucking president, is Trump will probably be like, nah, let's execute these stupid motherfuckers. Get his stupid ass out of here. And Trump deserves an execution as well. Matthew says, basically, Newsom believes that the death penalty is risky because of sometimes executing innocent people. Says unequal application, says, and what is that? And no deterrent effect. Says, and it's expensive, says to implement. No, when you got people who are just without a shadow of fucking doubt, like you should put them over. Okay, this person case is a little questionable. Let's sit this person over here, keep them on a moratorium. But motherfuckers like this who they know killed these people, nah, throw him in there in the morning. Get this fool up out of here. And it says that's the purpose of the moratorium, says according to Newsom. And then Go Young DJ says Trump can't do that, says on state cases. No, I didn't say Trump can do it. I said I meant to say if Trump was the governor, Trump would have these motherfuckers up out of here. This is why I said the only way I can rock with that stupid ass president. Or I should have said it that way. So you got this fool, Darren Stanley. So here go another motherfucker. He look handicapped now. His 2013 look, he all the way fucked up. Just look how his condition then just deteriorated. 2013 photo. He can't even put his shirt on. They held the shirt up in front of that motherfucker. This is how bad this photo is. They left the tag in there. You can see this nigga ain't even in his shirt because he looked like he done had a stroke or some shit. So they say he has dementia and psychosis. Who gives a fuck? Execute him. He's from 1991, condemned in 1991. Here go at 85, prison photo. Says this crime says during a 4-day string of 6 robberies that started in Alameda County in 1989. Where's Alameda's up north, right? The Oakland area, some shit. Says Stanley slashed the throat of a driver, says refueling his taxi. Competent says a chance CAT scan in 2007 revealed parts of Stanley's brain have decayed. Says he has visual, auditory, and what is that? Hold on. And what is that? Olfactory hallucinations that he can says that he can spirit travel to Mars. I don't know. They jacked up on that part of writing. Said he can travel to Mars. Says talk to ancestors and is unified with God. Says and is unified with God. Well, shit, unify his ass on over to that realm. You get rid of him, he'll be really there. Says Stanley's federal appeals was halted in 2013 due to his incompetence, but was ordered to resume this year. Yeah, get rid of him. Get rid of his ass. He ain't that goddamn insane. So he's one of the guys who is too insane to execute, but he can slash somebody fucking throat and all that other crazy shit, which makes no sense. Like, I don't get why motherfuckers. Oh man, these motherfuckers is crazy. This fool like John Jones and shit. His 2007 picture. This fool like John Jones. So it's a lot of black folks who are too incompetent to execute. So a lot of black folks are getting, kind of this benefit in the law to where the state won't execute him because the motherfuckers is considered crazy. I say still execute their ass. He is schizophrenic and paranoid. He was condemned in 1993. Says his crime in 1986, Higgins escaped from a California youth authority. So he's a young kid, work crew. Oh, this is back when they used to lie. I think I heard this case. Says he hid in the house and raped and killed the occupant. Yeah, get this sorry motherfucker up out of here. Says he was described as psychotic, suicidal. Oh, he's suicidal. He want to go. What the fuck y'all holding it up for? Get this fool up out of here. This fool want to go. He's suicidal. Helping. Stupid ass fools. Suicidal and engaged in a behavior, says in bizarre behavior. Says details of current psychiatric exam filed in court are sealed. Competence questions in Higgins' 2006 federal appeal have been raised since 2012. Says while the state Supreme Court has set a hearing in June on whether Higgins should be resentenced to life because of low intelligence. Man, his intelligence ain't that low. He can kill a motherfucker. So here go a white dude, old fucking Doogie Howser looking motherfucker. So Doogie Howser, he got bipolar disorder and brain damage. So we're gonna say his daddy smacked his ass and he went stupid. So this Puffy relative, he a Combs. So here go Combs, the white Combs. He says condemned for 1991 strangulation, murder, and robbery of a San Bernardino County woman. Diagnosis includes organic brain damage. So he was just born stupid. Bipolar disorder and fetal alcohol. Oh, his mother was fucked up. So his mother caused this shit. It says described as hostile and aggressive. Combs was moved to inpatient psychiatric care in 2014, but he killed somebody. He wasn't that fucking bipolar that it didn't say, okay, his bipolar, let's take murder off of your abilities. Like, get the fuck out of here. These niggas know how to kill shit and all type of shit. Questions of Combs' competency for execution says were rejected as premature by the state Supreme Court and raised in 2013 in Combs' federal appeals. Man, get the hell up out of here. So here go another black dude. So people can't use this racial shit as it relates to the criminal justice system, because there's a lot of black people that are getting this break on not being executed. So this fool just looked crazy. He looked like a goddamn fool. So he was arrested in 1994. He has chronic psychosis. During a string of random shootings in 1990, says at Oakland businesses, Mark shot 4 people, killing 2 and stealing. This is about the stupidest motherfucker on death row. This nigga had how many robberies? He did. Oh, he said a string of random shooting at businesses and only got away with $5 fucking dollars. $5. Yeah, this fool looks stupid as fuck. Says in a letter to court, says in letters to courts, Mark alleges wanton witchcraft, says in food poisoning on death row. says he was among inmates identified in 2014, says for inpatient psychiatric care. And it's legal, says in December, federal appeals lawyers says raised arguments that Marks was psychotic at the time, says at the time of the murders, says an incompetent to stand trial. Man, get the fuck out of here. Nigga stole $5, killing niggas for $5. Here go Eric Lloyd, this motherfucker arrested in 1996. So he is psychotic with organic brain damage. So once again, it's gonna go into this shit of his mother being either a meth head or alcoholic during his embryo phases of fucking birth. So he killed 6 people, says in 2 Sacramento businesses in 1991 and stole beef jerky. Execute him. Why is he still alive? Why end executions after they kill Tookie, but keep the rest of these sorry motherfuckers alive? And look at his mugshot. He just smugged in a motherfucker, smiling and shit. So let's see his name. Eric Lloyd sees angels. So his competence, he sees angels and ghosts and heeds religious commands, says including placing his hands in scalding water, says because Jesus commanded it. Yeah, get him out of here with this retarded ass religious shit he on. Says varying diagnosis includes schizophrenia, says and brain damage from severe epilepsy. It says Leonard's competencies for execution and other claims for appeals have been awaiting decision by the state Supreme Court since 2012. Get his stupid ass out of here. Let's see who else is on this shit. This crazy fool. Wait, why does this fool look familiar? What's he? This is the game show murderer fool? His name Jonathan DeArcy, says he's undisclosed diagnosis. He's condemned in 1997. In 1993, DeArcy's burned to death a bookkeeper at his janitorial job and believes she was withholding a $159 check. So he did his show with 50. Yeah, execute this stupid motherfucker. He's at his job. There ain't no way he is innocent. Ain't no way he falls under the moratorium on the death penalty. Put him over on this side. Roll him right into the chamber. Get rid of him. Get him out of here. Get him out of here, Newsom. Competence. Death row staff described him as reclusive, hostile, aggressive, and talking to himself. Well, you get rid of him, he ain't got to talk no more. You free his cell up for somebody else. Says in 2014, says he was recommended for psychiatric housing. The RC was, and then he dangerous to put in with another cellmate, because you'd be a cellmate, it's going to be either you or him. So you may have to kill this fool. The RC was initially, says, incompetent to stand trial, says, but was tried after a stay at a state hospital. After a stay at a state hospital. He has been waiting 6 years for appointment by a lawyer, says for his state habeas appeal. And he got this other little fool, this fool, Cisco Harshik. How you spell this fool? This fool just looks stupid as hell. Schizophrenic, condemned in 1998. 1995, Harshik shot to death 2 people he found in a truck parked at a Riverside County orange grove. So you be having, these are the type of people you got to watch out for in this everyday world that we exist in. And you should be protected. That these pussy ass people with diagnosis get viewed as innocent, nothing to happen to him. But if you blew his motherfucking face off, you be facing all type of shit. So he says a day later, he sexually assaulted and then killed a 14. Yeah, get him the, why is he still alive? Why is he still alive? California weak ass politicians, why is he still alive? His competence, psychotic. Therefore, it should be all the more reasons to execute him. Get these old dork ass fucking psychologists and all these other little fake brain expert ass people y'all bring in to court that fucking advocate for these pieces of shit the fuck out of here. Psychiatric behavior says with hallucinations, delusions, paranoia, and poor self-care. That's on him. Get rid of him. Guard stuffed towels. Says what he says. Guard stuffed towels at this door. Oh, sorry, at his door. It says to stop the odor of bleach. Says stop the odor and bleach the cells. Says in his absence. Says Harsh. What it says. Harsh was awaited. Oh, sorry. Harsh has waited since 2010 for a lawyer for his state habeas appeal. So in 2014, the judge ruled him gravely disabled. Fuck that judge. So here go this fool with fucking rollers all in his hair. Oh, he all the way fucked up. Look how he aging in here. Ron Bell. Look how he aging in here. He looked all the way fucked up. And he just went into crime, man. I just don't get why people can live regular lives. Fool look like he was a player. And then went in this shit. But he in prison with rollers in his hair. Oh, he in there fucking with homos and shit. Says he has advanced dementia. You can see in this 2007 picture. Oh, so he condemned to 79. 1978 says killing a shopkeeper during jewelry store robbery in Contra Costa County. Says, oh, that's the name of that rap group, Coast Contra. Y'all ever heard of them? We gotta play some of their music on one of the music shows. Says death row's second longest serving inmate. So he's the second longest serving inmate in the California's death row. So competence says prison medical reports since 2012 described Bell, 67, as confined to a hospital bed in diapers. So he the guy they're talking about. He confined to a hospital bed and he's in diapers. Says unable to communicate or follow simple commands. Says his prognosis is poor. So I mean, let him die out. So it'd be fucked up to throw him in the execution chamber. Says Bell 1991 federal appeal alleging innocence and mistaken identity was fully briefed in 2001. Says yet remain undecided. Says with no progress since court orders settlement talks in 2013. So he probably ain't got nobody to return to. So there's a lot of black people on this shit. You got Ron Dean Turner, says schizophrenic psychosis, condemned in 80. Says shot to death in elderly San Bernardino County couple. Says in their dog. He shot a dog, white folks. You got to get rid of him. And it says during the 1979 home invasion robbery. So why wasn't he put on the same shit like they did with Tookie? He did his shit around the same time he did his shit. Says his competence. See, it says he was incoherent. Says rocks and bangs his head. Believe he has fathered children with female guards. says is a prominent musician, says whose songs were stolen and key legal citations are hidden on candy wrappers. Yeah, get him out of here. He retarded. Says federal incompetence claims not heard pending completion of state appeals. The state habeas case has been awaiting decision since 2013. So this is this damn fool who should be knocked off, put away. He killed the dog too, white folks. Oscar Gates, so another black dude. So majority of the people who are too insane to execute are black. Says diagnosis, says delusional paranoid disorder in 1981. He shot partners in an Oakland forgery ring in 1979, killing once. Says later convicted of murder for the death of a woman raped at a Los Angeles mortuary. So he killed the chick where the fucking dead people are. He is sick. Not only is he scandalous, so he in here doing criminal shit with his homies, killed one. He definitely was on PCP. He like a PCP head ass dude. And then he go to a mortuary where the dead body's at and do that shit to a lady. The murder death for a woman raped at a mortuary. Competence. Gates contends the state seeks to steal, says, so his name is Oscar Gates. Oscar Gates contends the state seeks to steal a Howard Hughes trust fund and his cure for AIDS, says, and cover up his warning of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Yeah, get his dumb ass out of here. Says federal appeals began in 1988, says, but was stayed in 2003 because of his incompetence. So the federal judge 2014 refused to order treatment, says doubting any benefit. Yeah, don't give him nothing. He playing that crazy shit. So he was a white dude, Douglas Clark. Yeah, he looked like he meth out of his brain. Bipolar, schizoaffective disorder. What the hell is that? He must got some shit on top of being a schiz. 1983, they should have took him off the streets when they knew he was like that. Anybody diagnosed with shit like this ought to be housed in institutions before they can commit crimes. Dove the Sunset Slayer, our people need to watch out for people like that. Dove the Sunset Slayer, Clark, let me see, hold on 1 second. Here. So Dove the Sunset Slayer, Clark in 1980 says killed 6, god damn, including a 15-year-old girl, and attempted to kill a 7th near Sunset Boulevard. No, what the fuck is he alive for? The fuck? How the hell is this fool still living? He's a piece of fucking shit. Says Clark and state experts say he is competent. Says, but other psychiatrists, and this is the fucked up part. Keep these stupid ass psychiatrists out of fucking court trials. Nobody needs to be evaluated. You committed a fucking crime. Who gives a fuck with what's wrong with your head? You committed the fucking crime. And if you let these dumbass people out there commit more crime, they know how to kill people. These disorders don't stop their hands from pulling the trigger, holding the knife and stabbing the motherfucker, right? Them choking your ass and doing all type of shit. Them knowing how to sneak up on motherfuckers. Them knowing how to fucking find surprise attacks. Them fucking fools knowing how to take someone's life when nobody is there, and them knowing how to escape, getting away, and then going and commit another one. This fool has killed 6 people and tried a 7th. But they bring some old weird ass psychiatrists who they probably be feeling like these are their relatives, and then put this kind of shit out. Clark argues his death sentence is a conspiracy to cover up murders by Charles Manson copycat killers. His ex-girlfriend says Clark's 1992 federal appeals remain pending. Says with issues over his competence since 2006. Federal judge in April ruled Clark's competence irrelevant to the current appeal. So this idiot right here won't be executed. This another idiot, look like the Mountain Man. So he's schizophrenia and disorganized type. I don't know what disorganized is. He was condemned in 86. His crime is with history of psychiatric problems. Dunkel says, I think this is the name. Dunkel says from 81 to 85, hunted down, raped and murdered 3 boys and assaulted us. So he a fucking homo, a nasty ass motherfucker. Says described as gravely disabled and banging his head on the wall, said to believe he is controlled by computer chips and dies at night says to become a new being. So you should kill him when it's at night. Actually kill this motherfucker. Shit, yeah, dummies. Fuck you keeping this fool alive. He died at night, so execute his ass at night. And then it says the state courts in 2002 appointed a legal guardian. Dinko's federal appeal starting in 2006 says what has been inactive since the filing of the first brief in 2010. So this retarded ass homosexual motherfucker. So we got Horace Kelly. That name sounds very familiar. Horace Kelly. So this way he looked like he looked disabled, look like he's confined to a bed as well. So let's see how you fucked your life off, buddy. So he's schizophrenia and disorganized type, 86. Since as a San Bernardino night watchman, Kelly killed 2 women, sexually assaulting one after death. Nasty, sick ass dude. Says and murdered a boy who attempted to prevent his cousin's abduction. So salute to this kid, man. And unfortunately, he lost his life rescuing his cousin from being kidnapped by this piece of shit. Branded Smiley Kelly, or that's Smelly, says branded Smelly Kelly for refusing to bathe and a habit of hoarding feces. Kelly smiles, dresses oddly, says and busies himself folding toilet paper. It's fucking something just wrong with these fools, and these dummies will keep these fools alive. Put staff through having to deal with these type of people. Says though a jury in 1998 ruled Kelly sane, said the federal judge stayed execution and later appeals. Says the state hired expert contends Kelly exaggerates his illness. Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with this damn fool, but they got these weak laws. So we back at the square one. So this is the first fool. So let's go back on here. He was the people who are too insane to kill. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of them are black. Let's see. Whites are 1, 2, 3. Wait, that fool ain't white. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me make sure I count that. 1. I don't know if this fool is white. Yeah, that fool is white. Hold on, let me go back. All right, where that shit go? Hold on, I messed that up. Hold on. I'll jack that all the way up. All right, there we go. Wait, did I get this fool here? He was it says, yeah, this I didn't get this fool. It says schizophrenia and catatonia. How do you say that? Says in 84, says serial attack, says with a claw hammer, says on 4 men in Sacramento area restrooms, 3 victims died. Yeah, this fool was going insane. It says Jones is bounded between delusional rants and catatonia, how you say that shit, spending days naked on his floors, smeared in feces. Recent notes showed he remains mute and soiled with feces. Leave him in that shit. Execute him with shit on him. Get him out of here. So I didn't see that fool. Was another fool. I don't think I seen this one. Jones Holt, 1990, says while selling cleaning supplies door to door, Holt raped and murdered. See, that's why I don't trust that door to door shit. People come to people's doors selling shit door to door. Don't trust these pieces of shit. Says his prior crimes include rape of a 90-year-old woman and says when he was 16. So he nasty, a nasty little motherfucker. It's in Bakerfields. Host believed that he can replenish rotting food. Says Holt's belief that he can replenish rotting food says led to trash pile to his knees. And insects infestation says while guards shoved towels around the door to stem the stench. And the guards should have cleaned that shit out rather than just doing that little band-aid ass bullshit. Give me 1 second. All right, I'm back, folks. And let me see. Who else did we not get on here? McPeters, he's on there. So let me count the list. Oh, wait, no, I didn't see this fool here. James Blair says he's psychotic, says we're paranoid. Grandiose delusion. Says in 84, says Blair poisoned a Los Angeles neighbor with cyanide laced gin. Oh, this fool is foul because she owed him money. Says she died 2 years later. So he cyanide poisoned a drink. That's why I don't take shit from people. You get people who do sick shit like this. You had that wife recently who got sentenced, who poisoned her husband, wrote a child's book, end up going on TV shows, had the #1 book, and they found out this bitch killed that fool. And then thought she was gonna get the life insurance money, not knowing that the husband before, when she first tried to poison his ass, switched his trust fund over to his sister to give to his kids. So Blair spent since a decade in virtual isolations, insisting he was about to be released. Says believing his food was poisoned and the walls hid cameras. Says he was untreated until 2014. So this is fucking idiot. All right, so here we go. Here go the people, the 20 people unfit to be executed. And I'm going to do it by race. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of them were black. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are white. 1, 2 are Latino or some other shit. So yeah, the black folks get they just due. So let me go into the execute. Let me go into the executed. Who have they? I think Tookie might be on this list. Damn, white, Mexican or something. I don't know what the fuck, a Babbitt. Oh, let me go into that one. Let me see. So they got Tookie on there. I think Tookie is the last person to be executed. Wait, the Tookie was 2005. So there's a white guy after them, Clarence Ray Allen. So he was after Tookie. But so California been executing the fuck out of white folks. So this is why I like to get into this shit, because I think a lot of people do all this little crying shit. This is why I be like, people gotta get their facts together on shit, know what the arguments are before we start just making everything just, crybaby race shit. So here are the 13 men executed by California since 78. That is ridiculous. Since 1978, California's only killed with the largest death row population. And 78 is significant because remember, the Supreme Court had banned executions. I think they were claiming they were cruel and unusual or some shit. Remember that shit in the Elements? I remember all this shit. Because I was always a kid that paid attention. And then let me see, when did California bring? Because I remember that was always a thing as an elementary kid. They're always talking about cruel and unusual punishment. I don't know if they're talking about that shit because of us being black kids, predominantly black area. Hold on, let me see. When did California bring back? Let me type this in. Let me see. California bring back executions. Let me see, because Supreme Court had banned that shit. Capital punishment. Hold on, not there. So 2006 is the last execution after that white dude. Let me find out when was that banned. So the state carried out 709 executions in 1778. So that's way back then. Until 72, says when the California Supreme Court struck down California's capital punishment statute in the case People versus Anderson, California voters reinstated the death penalty. Says a few months later, says Proposition 17 legalizing the death penalty. Yeah, bring that shit all the way back and put crazy motherfuckers on the list. So 79. So, all right, so 72, and then they brought it back that same year. I think the Supreme Court did some shit on banning executions. All right, hold on. Let me go back in the comments real quick. Let me not ignore the comments, and they get back into this list. I'm going to the people they executed. So that's crazy. Since 78, they only executed 13 motherfuckers. California is slow. I think the 3 years I was in Texas, shit. The 3 years I was in Texas, them motherfuckers in Texas may have executed 13 people in 6 fucking months. Shit. Let alone the motherfuckers in Texas in there executing motherfuckers like a mother. That's why I say don't play in Texas and shit. And let me see where else I in the comments is. I know boxing in the building. Salute to I know boxing. And then Matthew says there's an interesting book called Meals to Die For. This is by Brian D. Price. Says who cooked 200 last meals for Texas inmates during the time when they could request their last meal. It says now they don't get to request. Yeah, because you be looking at some of the shit I be watching with these fools who get executed and they get their last meal, which is like, wow, how lovely. These motherfuckers get to request steaks and cheeseburgers, and I want butter pecan ice cream and this and that. I wouldn't want shit. Nigga, I wouldn't want a goddamn thing. Nigga, you about to execute. Fuck that. Give me some beans because I want to just shit in this motherfucking. Y'all got to clean it up. That is get all type of lovely, pleasant ass meals and shit. And Go Young GJ says he went to jail since the same year as Tookie, says, but they executed Tookie 20 years ago. Yeah, that's the crazy shit. When you look at some of these crimes these people commit, and then you look at the Tookie situation, these fools still alive and can play this crazy shit. And then Matthew says if you come across the inmate William Noguera, says he was recently released from California death row, says it is now free. Free for what? Says he wrote a book, says come out on shows, says and works with law enforcement. For what? Was he one of these innocent people they probably try to execute it? I mean, I can see if that's the case, but some of these fools ain't innocent. Like Sinclair says, I don't see Mark Sumner's weak ass in here. Says tonight, says I wonder why. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I wonder why he ain't on here neither. Because when I go through this list, he gonna see how many white people on California's death row. Goyan GJ says this list is just the mentally challenged people. No, this is part of that category. And then they segmented. I'm gonna get the full list. Says there's a guy on YouTube that tried every last death row meal in California. And then Matthew says in Texas there's been 31 executions since 2020. Man, them motherfuckers in Texas. When I was in Texas, man, them motherfuckers in there executing the fuck out of people. Even when I got out, I used to see that shit on the news. Texas executing, especially when Bush was the governor. Because I was in Texas when Bush was still governor of Texas. And them fools having executions every month, I think they was having an execution. And that's when he was like being like, I think even in this campaign, he campaigned on being tough on crime and shit. And then, only 13 men have been executed since 78. So they say men because no women have been executed, even though there are women on the death row. Says here's a look at those men and the crimes for which they were put to death. So you have Robert Alton Harris. He was executed in April 21st, 92. 13 years, 1 month on death row is how long he spent. Robert Alton Harris says, and his brother abducted 2 teenage boys, says from a fast food restaurant in San Diego, 1978. Harris shot John Majewski, says, and Michael Baker, both 16 in the head, killing them. Says he then stole their car. Says his brother, Daniel Marcus Harris, served 6 years in prison. Why he only gets 6 years? Let me guess. He snitched. He ratted his brother out, and this little weak ass prosecutor cut this punk motherfucker a deal. They both abducted these dudes and killed these dudes, but the snitch gets off. Daniel Marcus Harris served 6 years in prison for his part in the murders. Harris was executed in the gas chamber of San Quentin State Prison. Good. The first execution in California in 25 years. Good. His last meal, says Harris requested, was given 2 large pizzas, a bucket of fried chicken, and ice cream. Nigga fucking eat his ass off. Nigga, you ain't about to remember a damn thing of that shit. Nigga ate 2 large pizzas. You big stew. I guess he's trying to prolong that shit. His last words, according to Warden Daniel Vasquez, Harris says, "You can be a king or a street sweeper." Says, but everyone dances with the Grim Reaper. Oh, he was rapping. Oh, that nigga hit him with a rap song. Says debate rages over delays in Harris executions. So here you got Daniel Edwin Mason. He was executed on August 24th, 1993. So they kill him one person every fucking year. He served 9 years, 7 months on death row. David Edwin Mason says beat, strangled, and robbed 4 elderly victims within a 9-month period. Yeah, he got to go. Doing that to old folks. Says while being held in Alameda County Jail, says awaiting trial. Mason killed his cellmate. Mason also was wanted in Butte County, says for shooting and killing his male. So he a homo. His male lover, says while the victim was sleeping. Weird ass motherfucker. Says Mason was executed in the gas chamber. They need to bring the gas chamber back. All this nice way of executing people is for the fucking birds. So in gas chamber at San Quentin State Prison, says he was the first condemned inmate to voluntarily waive his appeals on a federal level. So salute to him for that. He knew he was a piece of shit. According to the prison warden, says Mason said, "No, warden, I want to proceed. Thank you, warden." And I don't even know how they come up asking you want to appeal. Mason refused any last meal, requesting only ice water, says while in the death watch cell. Mason told the warden, says that he had no final words, says to impart. Yeah, get your ass up out of here. He said Mason looked at it like, there ain't no use to fucking eat no lavish ass meal. These niggas about to kill me. Niggas be asking for, let me get a nice tablecloth and nice little, well, they ain't gonna give them no glass. Give me nice little high-end glass to drink my beverage from. Like, hell nah. So this fool, William George Bowen, says executed February 23rd, 1996. He spent 13 years, 1 month, says on death row. Says William George Bowen, says known as a freeway killer, says kidnap, rob, rape, and murder a total of 14. God damn. A total of 14 teenage boys between 79 and 80. In 1 year, he killed this many. So he is a homo too. A lot of these white serial killers is homos. Says Bowen was executed at San Quentin State Prison. Bowen was the first California inmate says to be executed by lethal injection. So he's the first one in California history to be executed by lethal injection. So 96. So they're putting other fools in that gas chamber. I wonder what the motherfucker go through in that gas chamber. So his last meal says he requested 2 large pepperoni and sausage pieces, says 3 pints of coffee, says ice cream, and 3 6-packs of regular. Nigga sat there and drunk all this shit. How long do you get this shit? I wonder, that's the other thing they don't make clear. I hate when shit is just vague. They don't add detail. I like detail to shit. Like, how long do you spend for this last meal? Is it the day before? Is it a couple of hours before? What is it? Last word says he gave the following last words to Warden Art Calderon. Says that I feel the death penalty is not an answer. Oh, of course you say this shit. Not the answer to the problems at hand. That I feel this sends the wrong message to the youth. Fucking piece of fucking selfish ass shit. Let me put a face on this scumbag that wrote this shit. This piece of shit that had killed 14 motherfuckers. Piece of shit, homosexual ass motherfucker. Says he gave the following last words. He says, I feel that the death penalty is not an answer to the problems at hand. I feel that it sends the wrong message to the youth of the country. No, it sends a strong message to the youth. You fuck up, you're going to die like this piece of shit. Well, in California, you ain't no more. Says young people act as they see other people acting instead of as people tell them to act. Says, and I would suggest that when a person has a thought of doing anything serious against the law, that before they did, that they should go to a quiet place and think about it seriously. Yeah, I agree with that last part, but fuck what he's talking about. I think a lot of young kids should think about shit before you want to go commit crime and do other shit. You think about it. I think one of the greatest teachers, if you got people who are incarcerated, you watch people lose their freedom, you need to think about it. Is it worth it? You need to go listen to these videos of motherfuckers that sit locked behind walls and hear them speak about how none of it is worth it. You even listen to that young dude, Jab 5, who I listen to talk about. I wish he had changed his raps up. His raps ain't about killing shit and killing motherfuckers. But when you listen to him speak about what he is, dedicate himself to the gang shit, only to find out, you know, you having to team up with people you view on the streets as enemies and shit. And then you find out these people ain't as bad as what you have convinced yourself into thinking. Like, And really kind of the main point from all this shit is that hate ain't worth it. It ain't worth the hate shit. If you gotta hate somebody, remove yourself from the motherfucking environment. So they go to the next piece of shit. You got this fool named Keith Daniel Williams. Keith Daniel Williams. Let's see what this piece of shit did. He's executed May 3rd, 1996. He spent 17 years on death row. So the family of these victims had to deal with this motherfucker still having life. Keith Daniel Williams says killed 2 men, and a pregnant woman says he hardly knew. In a bizarre attempt to steal back a bad check, says he had written to one of his victims. The bodies of Miguel and Salvador, says Miguel Salvador Vargas, were found laying face down on the floor of their rural Merced residence on October 9, 1978. 5 days later, Lourdes Meza's body was discovered in a field some distance from the residence. So wait, 5 days later, they took that long to find this body of the person. Police did a horrible job. That's the fault of the fucking sorry ass police department. His last meal, Williams' last meal included fried pork chops, baked potatoes, says with real butter. So you can say, I want real butter on it. I want that prison county shit. I want real butter. So they get all these demands. And they, I want a pork chop cooked this way, baked potato, asparagus. I want a salad with blue cheese dressing and apple pie and milk. He had no last word. So he get to request all this shit. Ain't never ate that kind of shit in his fucking life. So you got, and then let's keep account of how it looks racially. Let's keep up the shit racially. I don't think I come across a black person yet. Hold on. I don't think nobody's been black yet. Yeah, we haven't executed nobody black yet. So let's keep in mind on this shit when we talk about the prison system and all this other shit. Now in the South may be a little different. Maybe it's, I doubt. I think it's more white people on death row in the South and more white prisoners in this country. So Thomas says Thomas M. Thompson, executed January 14, 1998. He spent 14 years, 1 month on death row. Says Thomas Martin Thompson. His name throwing me off. Thomas Martin Thompson says convicted of forcible rape, says in first degree murder with the special circumstances of murder during the commission of rape, says for the 1981 murder of Ginger, how you say her name? She a foreign name. She's 20 years old in Laguna Beach. So she a rich white chick. So that's the other reason why he died. He did this to a rich white chick. Rich foreign white chick. So she might have had blonde hair and blue eyes, just looking at her name and all that shit. His last meal included an Alaskan king crab, says with melted butter, spinach salad, pork fried rice, Mandarin style spare ribs. So they gotta go. Nigga put this on the cook. Gotta be out on the grill, frying shit, baking shit for these pieces of shit. Then he gotta make a hot fudge sundae for this man. Get the fuck out. Hey, Warden, fuck you and fuck him. Hey, I quit. I ain't cooking this shit for this motherfucker. Nigga asked for all this whole 5-star restaurant ass shit. Fuck, that shit don't come out of a Mediray bag. Fuck this fool. These niggas get these kind of requests. Man, get the fuck out of here. Nigga, last meal. Bitch, that you did this kind of shit. You motherfuckers are stupid in this prison system. Says his last statement says for 17 years, says the AG, I guess Attorney General, has been pursuing the wrong man. Says in time, says he will come to know this. Says, I don't want anyone to avenge my death. Instead, I want you to stop killing people. God bless. Fuck you. Get your ass out of here. So this name is Jaturan Siripong. So he's executed. So this fool look like some old Mongolian motherfucker. So he was executed February 9, 1999. He spent 15 years, 9 months on death row. What is that? Jituran Siripong says a former Buddhist monk. So he's a monk. So he's ain't monks supposed to be like well disciplined and real humble like people? I don't put another past religious people. People wear all these garments and all that shit. I don't put another past these motherfuckers. He's a Buddhist monk, says convicted of robbery, burglary, says in 2 counts of first degree murder. And the December 15, 1981 deaths, Pakovan Pat Wantapong, says in Kuan Wen, says the bodies of the men, says were found laying face down in a puddle of blood in the storage room of a Garden Grove market, says where they work. So he did knock them off. This fool was a monk. So he did that in 1999. That's my junior or senior year, however school starts. Manuel Babbitt, that name sounds familiar, says executed May 4, 1999. Spent 16 years, 10 months on death row. Manuel Pena Babbitt says broke into the South Sacramento apartment of Leah Sachadel, 78-year-old, and beat her to death. Says Babbitt also attempted to rape Sachadel before ransacking and robbing her residence. Non-pussy getting pumped. He's a decorated Vietnam veteran. Says Babbitt claimed he did not remember the attacks because it took place during a post-traumatic stress flashback. So what? Last meal, he declined the last meal and fasted until his execution. And he says, I forgive all of you. Yeah, sure. Take your ass to hell, punk. So you got Darren Keith Rich. So executed March 15, 2000. So he spent 19 years, 1 month on death row. Darren Keith Rich says attacked 9 women during a 2-month rampage in the summer of 1978. Raping 8 of them, says, and killing 4. Yeah, he's sick. He's a sick ass fool. And he did this in 78, and they let him stay alive for 19 fucking years. Says the youngest of his victims, says, was Annette Silix, 11-year-old. He's a piece of shit. Nasty motherfucker. Execute his parents too. Says whom he threw off a 105-foot high bridge near Shasta Lake. He beat Annette Edwards, 19, and Pam Moore, 17, says, to death with rocks. This fool, and they let him stay alive for 19 fucking years. Let's hear what he fucking ate. Says Rich also shot Linda Shavik, says a 28-year-old mother, twice in the head and says, and later bragged to friends, though he had friends that are around for this shit. He later bragged to friends, says that in her final moments, she had pleaded, don't do it, don't do it. Oh, he declined his last meal, says, and drank tea, broth, and Gatorade, says, until his execution. And his last words was, peace. So he's a heartless motherfucker. Type of people we have in this world. Now, I'm only have bias for one person, or I'm only be biased with Tookie's execution. So all these people on this list that California's executed have been white. I think Tookie the only black person on this shit. Robert Lee Massey says executed March 27, 2001. This fool spent 21 fucking years and 10 months on death row. Robert Lee Massey says is convicted of 1 count of first-degree murder on January 3rd, 1979 for the death of Boris G. Neumoff. So you kill a foreigner, like a German, Mark Furman ass motherfucker, you get death penalty for killing somebody from out of the motherland of white folks in this country. So he got 1 murder, he got the death penalty. Let's see, maybe he did some savage shit. Messi shot and killed Naumoff, says, during a liquor store robbery. Says at the time of Naumoff's murder, Messi was on parole. Says, okay, he was on parole for murder already? He's a fucking sorry ass motherfucker. Because there'd be a lot of people who kill people back then and get these short ass times. Says Messi was on parole for a 1965 murder of Mildred Weiss. Says he had initially been sentenced to death for Weiss killing, says, but a stay of execution by then Governor Ronald Reagan pussy ass, says, in the late 1960s, as well as the U.S. Supreme Court's decision to halt death penalties in 72, spared his life. Then he gets out and he kills somebody. Sorry, motherfucker. And Ronald Reagan pussy ass. So last meal, he requested 2 vanilla milkshakes, extra crispy French fries, extra crispy fried oysters, and soft drinks. Man, get the fuck out of here. Fucking piss on that shit. His last meal was forgiveness. Says giving up all hope for a better past. Forgiveness. Giving up all hope for a better past. Don't know what this fool means by that shit. All right, let's go to the next person. So you got Stephen Wayne Anderson, says executed January 29, 2002. He spent 20 years and 6 months on death row. It says Stephen Wayne Anderson said described by authorities as a drifter, shot and killed an 81-year-old grandmother, Elizabeth Lyman, in 1980, says while trying to burglarize her San Bernardino County home. His last meal was 2 grilled cheese sandwiches, 1 pint of this nigga nasty. You're a disgusting motherfucker. Cottage cheese. Or do some people eat cottage cheese like that? 1 pint of cottage cheese. Says, what is that? Hominy corn mixture. Says 1 piece of peach pie. Nasty. This nigga disgusting. 1 pint of chocolate chip ice cream. Says, and radish. Kind of fucking backwood household shit is this? His last words when asked when asked by the warden if he had any last words, Anderson was very adamant, says that he did not. I ain't got nothing to say. I kill me, goddammit. I have a right to kill people. Daniel Beersley says, executed January 19, 2005. He spent 20 years, 10 months on death row. California be leaving folks on this shit. Daniel Beersley says brutally murdered 2 young women, says Patty Gettling and Stacy Benjamin, says on April 25th, 1981. In an apparent drug-related crime, says at the time of the murders, Beersley was on parole for murder in Missouri. Boy, the 60s and 70s prosecutors and whack-ass governors and judges, boy, they be fucking up letting these white folks walk off. These white folks be getting second chances and all this shit. Be murderers and shit. Get out and can't control their fucking self. He had no last meal and he had no last words. And here goes Stanley Tookie Williams, co-founder of the Crips. This only one I'll be biased on because I think they should look more into this case. But he did kill one man that people who would defend him will not defend against him being responsible for that. So executed December 13, 2005. Was that December? Okay, the execution was there. The funeral was somewhere in January. His funeral was massive out there in LA. His funeral was massive. That's when all the like Crip gangs came together. It was even Bloods out there for his shit. His shit was massive. And then so he was executed December 13, 2005. Spent 24 years, 8 months on death row. Stanley Tookie Williams says, who helped launch the Crip Street Gang, says was found guilty in 1981 of 4 counts of first-degree murder with special circumstances. On February 27, 1979, he and 3 cohorts, says, smoked cigarette laced with PCP, says, and armed with a 12-gauge shotgun, says, and the 22 caliber handgun, set on a late-night search, says, for a place to rob, according to court documents. And then once again, they allow other criminal motherfuckers to turn state evidence against this dude, snitch on him, rat on him. People have been committed to murders. You got to, the one thing to go look into this Tookie Williams case is to go listen to Melvin Farmer speak on this shit. And then to speak on the character of the people who the California officials allow. That's the only reason why I say I got a bias when it comes to his situation. But he did when people stayed and take the life of that white dude who got the same last name as me. But then the fucking the Korean dude, the Korean family, they was like that other dude may have did that shit. And then let me see. So they bring up the PCP. Says they wound up at a 7-Eleven. Says, well, Albert Owens, says the father of 2, says an Army veteran, says was working the overnight shift. Owens was shot twice in the back. Less than 2 weeks later, Williams broke down the door of the Brookhaven Motel, says, and killed the motel owners. Taiwanese immigrants, Yin Yang, says his wife, I don't know how to say these motherfuckers' name, the Yang family, says who was visiting, and her daughter who was visiting, she visited at the wrong time. The robbery netted $220. Motherfuckers lose their life over that shit because motherfuckers want to rob. Says Williams became an anti-violence advocate. Says from behind bars, it was nominated, which Donald Trump can't even be never nominated for shit. Fuck you, Trump. Said nominated for Nobel Peace Prize. Says he insisted he was innocent of the murders, but his own homies ratted on him, which is fucked up. And why you don't do shit with people? I don't do shit with anytime niggas ever want to be on some old criminal shit, do just stupid shit. Always detach myself from motherfuckers. Don't ever tell me what the fuck you did. I don't even need know none of that shit. You go off and do what you gonna do. Get the fuck away from me. And it always is stupid to me when niggas want to commit shit. You got to bring other motherfuckers with you. And then you listen to a lot of these motherfuckers end up in situations talking about who ratted on them and shit. So this last meal says Williams did not request the last meal. It says, but he did drink milk, says in the hours before his execution. He made no final last words. The last person killed, so Tookie is the only black person executed. Clarence Ray Allen says executed January 7, 2006. 23 years, 1 month on death row he spent. Clarence Ray Allen says was convicted of organizing the murders of Byron Shalewich, 27. See, and then that's the other thing. I can't. What's up, Deuce Time? Cousin in the building says he orchestrated the of Shalewich, says 27. Douglas White, 18. And Joseph Roach is 17. Says prosecutors told the jury in Fresno that Allen paid a fellow inmate, Billy Ray Hilton, says to carry out the killings. Says at the time of the killings, Allen was in prison convicted of the 1974 murder of Mary Sue Kitts. So this bitch made motherfucker already in prison, then set up some other murder. Yeah, get this fool off this fucking planet. But the other crazy shit, when you're looking at these executions, the way in which you look at white media, see, this is why I'm always making this stance. This is why you don't see the white guys who love to sit in this motherfucking chat and make their little retarded, uneducated, white ass comments, got their fucking mouths shut, probably watching this shit. It's how the media portrays murders and the state's murder rates and all this other shit, and they refuse to play out the crimes committed by these white folks. That's why California, in this list of watching this shit, we see the people that they are fucking executing. We see the list of the people that are on their death row. These people who, man, come on, plot out shit on motherfuckers. All right, so this fool was already in murder, convicted for murder in 1974. California did not have a death penalty statute at the time, remember, because they banned executions and shit. The Supreme Court did that shit. Says Kitts, says a girlfriend of Allen's son. So he killed his son's girlfriend. Says Kenneth was found strangled after telling the owners of a Fresno market that Allen's gang had burglarized their business. Sechelowitz says was the son of the store's owner, says, and had testified against Allen in Kitts' case. Allen was found guilty of 3 counts of first-degree murder with special circumstances and 1 count of conspiracies. His last meal was buffalo steak, Kentucky fried chicken, all white meat. Nigga, fuck you, punk. Now you dying, man. I wouldn't make none of this shit for these motherfuckers. That's just like the way the police, the little white kid who killed all them people at school, and they go take that nigga to get food. The other white dude who shot the church, they take that nigga to go get food. Man, fuck all this shit. Then the nigga can act like, I'm stupid, and don't execute the motherfucker. Man, fuck that. This nigga talking about a buffalo steak. How much fucking meat this nigga gonna eat? Fucking Kentucky fried chicken. Nigga said, all white meat. Don't put none of that black ass shit in my bucket. He wanted fried bread. What the fuck is fried bread? Pecan pie, sugar-free. These niggas is just fucking bougie ass fucking criminal motherfuckers. Black walnut ice cream, sugar-free, and whole milk. Put sugar in the milk. So his last words, so he wrote a lot of shit. Says, first of all, says, I like to say how good the woo that bitch. Oh, y'all stupid. Y'all should have socked this nigga in his stomach. This motherfucker is foul, homie. He is a foul criminal. He threw this shit in their face. It is 11-11. 11-11. So let's see. First of all, says I like to say how good the last meal was. How much I enjoyed it and how much I love my family and friends, says, who have stood by me all these years. Says I also like to thank my friends from Europe who have written me, says, and my spiritual advisor, Richard Williams, says, one lady, Henry Rip, says, of Holland, and another lady from Italy, says, all these old European motherfuckers, Christine Kaufman, says, who I gave an Indian name of Morning Sun, says, and she's been that, and she's been that to me. And all of the inmates on death row says that I'm leaving behind, that will be joining me one day. Says one good friend I've gotten, says I've got that. One good friend I've got that I hate to leave behind, says, who's been my neighbor for 20 years, is Ward Weaver. Says, and all of my family, says, that was here to visit me during this period. I love you very much, says, for being with me during this time. My last words will be, what is that? Hoka Hey says, it's a good day to die. Says, thank you very much. Says, I love you all. Goodbye. This boy's some arrogant motherfucker. And that's this Clarence Ray Allen motherfucker, the last person to ever be executed in California. So we can look through it, and I'll go back in the chat. So Tookie is the only black person executed in California since California reinstated its death penalty back in 1978, where only 13 people have been executed. So let me go into the full list. So that's some interesting shit to learn there. So let me go back into this death row shit. Go back into the full list. I'm going to skim through this shit. Matter of fact, let me just run through it, get a look of the description of the people on here. And you're going to see, as the news and all these other motherfuckers love to play out, like black people were the ones out here committing all these fucking crimes, is you can scan through this shit, see a couple of black people, but majority of the people on this shit are white. But there are a lot of black people on, and Latinos. Let me see. Oh, I remember this piece of shit ass dude. Wait, didn't they find him hanging? Well, let me just click this fool name. I think he did something to a kid or something. Let me see. Wait, where is this fool at? Oh, they don't get into their crimes. Hold on. I don't like this. I can go back into this one. But sentence on 2018. Hold on, let me pull up this fool's name. Because I think he did. Oh, wait, no, he killed the cop. I think that's what this fool is. I think he that cop killing nigga, and he was bragging in court, laughing about this shit. Hold on, let me see if that's him. Said, yeah, he is a cop killer. Yeah, that's exactly who that fool is. He did that on October 14, Northern California. He murdered 2 officers. That's who that fool is. Says with a female. He did it with his girlfriend and shit. So that's who this Luis Bracamontes is. That nigga was in court and all that shit, laughing at that shit. Let me see. No, California do got a lot of black motherfuckers on it. I want to see if I see anybody I know in real life. Oh no, California got a lot of black motherfuckers on it. I take that shit back. And this chick. God damn. And the majority of the women on that shit is white. Let me see. White chicks. A lot of white chicks on that death row shit. And what these, I'm gonna go into the bitches. I'm gonna click on the women, see what they did. Oh, here go the Graham Sleeper motherfucker. That's that crazy motherfucker, Lonnie Franklin. He probably done killed 60 people. They charged him with the 10. Then he looked all the way fucked up. That's what his ass get. Let me see. Wow, look at these chicks. All white chicks. This a dude. I don't think that's a chick. That's a dude. There's a lot of you black motherfuckers on here. Y'all in there fucking up. I'll take that shit back. Let me see. Michael, what you did? It says Hills killed the man and his 4-year-old son during a robbery of an Oakland jewelry store. You fucking idiot. All right, so let me see. I'm gonna see if I see anybody I know. But then I'll take that back. California is full of black motherfuckers on death row. Wait, who is this fool? This fool is Stephen Jones. Jones is sentenced to the death for fatally shooting one man in a car wash robbery and bludgeoned a woman to death at a Lancaster motel. It says he also attacked his roommate. Says with a hatchet. Says robbed and stabbed the man in Arizona. Says raped this nigga nasty. In Los Angeles jail. Says attempted to kill another prisoner. fucking sick ass, fruitcake ass dude. Let me see. Just looking through the racial makeup of California's death row. California full of black motherfuckers. God damn. It's just a race arrested these days. But all the chicks on here is non-black. The bitches ain't doing much. It's just Mexican and white women on death row in California. I'm gonna go through what the women have done. Damn, I don't see a black chick yet on death row. These women have probably done some sinister shit. Look at this big neck bitch. Says Seriana says, and her husband Raul Seriana says beat to death 2 nephews. Says left in their care. Piece of shit, bitch. This that fool I think from Hoover. He got killed. This that dude got killed. Compton gang member. Says Shorts and Jamar Tucker says sentenced to life says for previous murder. Says killed another inmate. Says while waiting trial. Says in Los Angeles on other charges. No, I think this fool got killed. I think it's that dude from Hoover. Let me check him out real quick. Donald Shorts. And I think he's dead now. I think he got killed by his cellmate, or he the one that killed the cellmate. But I think he got killed. Let me see. Let's see. Man guilty, 2005 freeway shooting. Okay, LA Times. Let me pull that one up. But yeah, I think some people have done even he from Hoover. That's who this dude. That's who he got killed by. He got killed by this dude. So Jamar Tucky says parolee, no 107, boom, boom, boom. Says who goes by the name of Baby Hoover Ray. That's his Hoover Ray killed that dude. Let me see. He killed either he got killed or I think he killed this guy who I got on here. Let me pull that. Put this back up. Sorry, I took it off the screen, but this dude Donald Short. Oh fuck! The whole time I'm in here showing. Hold on. The whole time I'm showing this list of the people on the California death row, I didn't have it up. Damn, I'm surprised. I need to check the comments more often. Usually I'll say y'all don't see nothing. But let me pull that up. I'm just trying to see this thing with this guy. I think this guy got killed by this dude, Baby Hoover Ray. No, Baby Hoover Ray killed another Hoover member. But this dude right here, this dude, Donald Short, he did something. He looked familiar for something. Let me see, Donald Short. Let me see his case. I think he was that Hoover gang member that did something. All right, let me go back in here. Let me back this up, go over this list so y'all can see all the inmates that I was looking at as I was talking about how California's death row is made up of a lot of black fucking inmates. Is this Charles Manson? Oh, no. Oh, this that fool from the TV show, Ronald Acala. That nigga was on that dating show and killed all those women and shit. Yeah, they call him the dating game murderer and shit. End up being a serial killer and shit. So let me go through this list. Let me just scan through here. And how y'all was hearing me talking, but I'm sorry I didn't have it up on the screen. But as I'm going through, it's a majority of black motherfuckers on this damn death row shit in California. But I'm gonna go scan through. I want to see if there's anybody I know. And when you look at the women on here, there's no black women on this shit. Let me see, because I'm gonna go through the other ones. So this woman in here, she killed 3 motherfuckers. Damn, bitch, you crazy. Says Baron Rostro says killed her 3 children. Oh my God. Then went to the police to blame the murders on her estranged husband. What a bitch. What a bitch. May you rot in that motherfucker. You disgusting whore. Let me see. There's more bitches on here. I saw the Grim Sleeper on there. Here go another. Is this a lady? Yeah, this old dyke. So this dyke chick says during the string of robberies, says that businesses where she had worked as a janitor, Carrington killed 2 night workers, says, and shot a physician, says, working late. So you be having to watch the people you work with. You get them looking like this and looking weird, looking like they just there to try to canvass the damn place and then pull off a robbery. You got to watch the motherfuckers who would do anything for fucking money. So that's the only black lady on death row. Bitch, you look like a dude. And then so her name is Sakaro Carvel, 59. She got 3 victims. The wife of a wealthy, allegedly unfaithful doctor. Carvel shot 3 of her 4 young sons to death and then shot herself in the head, but survived. That's what you get, you dumb bitch. She's from Ventura County. Lazy bitch. Thought she was going to lose the money from the wealthy doctor and then do that shit to her kids. So 1 kid is alive. That kid got to be fucked up to lose his 3 other siblings. She shot 3 of her 4. You fucking bitch. Should have fired 2 shots at your head. Let me say what's up to y'all in the chat, and then we're going to go back through this one. And the Deuce Time says, I'll take a fade with Little Hoover Ray, says in 01. Oh, you fought that fool Hoover Ray? Because Hoover Ray, I think he killed somebody. He killed Little Devil, but Hoover Ray did some his case is scandalous, the Hoover Ray dude. His story, man, you gotta go to Damian Porter from 11 Deuce Hoover, who got a great YouTube channel, who go in a lot of prison stories. A lot of these prison stories he gives, and he goes into the story with Little Hoover Ray and Little Devil about how he killed that dude in there. But the other dude I had on the screen, he's familiar for some reason. Let me go back in here and shit, and let me see where was he at? Say we was in that last Texas one, Noguera, innocence. Oh, it says Noguera says wasn't innocent, says he conspired to murder his girlfriend, his mom back in the day. Picasso says, look up Judge Bean, says AK hanging judge had a reputation for hanging folks, says all over Texas, says, let me go back and check. He says, my mom knew about this dude. And then says 7 Langtree, Texas, says gives tourists quick look at the Judge Roy Bean. Says Judge Roy Bean, 1825. Oh, this is some old shit. This is what a legendary Texas saloon keeper and justice for the peace, known as the Laws West, says known as the law west of Pecos. And then what we got? Matthew says since 1977, says the U.S. Says in the U.S., 935 white defendants have been executed and 559 black defendants have been executed. Okay, so that's the racial breakdown. So majority of more white folks get executed than blacks in this system and shit. And then but whites be doing some sinister fucking shit. Black people are ending up on death row because of this gang bullshit. Blacks will start to end up on this shit over this drug shit. Outside of us doing this bullshit, Kamina, we wouldn't be on this shit. And then Matthew says Black Americans are overrepresented amongst those executed related to their share of the population. And he says, Matthew said, but I don't buy into that share of the population because the criminal elements inside the country are just what they are. You get a small percentage of what that criminal element is. And it should be based on the number per number, not based on percentage of the population. And then Matthew says that's why you hear about that crybaby race thing argument. And then Deuce Time in the building, salute. Matthew says when the cops in Parkland, Florida, says found and arrested Nick Cruz, he said demons, man, demons. Yeah, I was listening to that fool interrogation. Then it's crazy. He got the black brother. The black brother came in there feeling bad for him. And the Picasso says they should have Reggie's pork chop sandwiches, says as the last and good riddance meal. I would not cook shit for them motherfuckers. I piss on the motherfucking fool who done did all type of wicked shit. Say, the nigga won the last meal. Hold on, let me go research this nigga crimes. Piss and shit all over that. And they need to get rid of the motherfuckers that talk about they got mental health disorders. Fuck them. Get them motherfuckers gone. Matthew says you had it up for a while. And he says just recently the screen wasn't up, says when you were searching the white bitches. Okay, that's why I took it down. Deuce Sign says I took a fade with Little Hoover Ray in 01. How did that one go? Who won that fight, Deuce? Who won that fight? Or could he fight? And then Marlon Brown in the building. Salute. And then Deuce Sign says, I don't know if it's the same. Hoover Ray says, but I bumped with that nigga. And then I'm gonna pull this picture. I'm gonna pull up Hoover Ray because I think he is on death row. And shit, I think he got another sentence for killing that inmate of his. But I had the one fool boosted mine. So this bitch, but all the other chicks on death row are white chicks. Let me see. Let me go down. And matter of fact, that one dude, remember we used to go to Corey and Van house on the weekend. I don't know if you was with us, Deuce. When the police had that shit surrounded, that one fool killed the sheriffs in that park. I seen somebody do a special and he was from Young Crowd and shit. Let me see. And then I'm gonna go through this list, fool. But it's a lot of black motherfuckers on this goddamn list. So here we got Cynthia Kaufman. She's 54. She got 2 victims. She been in here since 86. San Bernardino says Kaufman and James Marlowe abducted a woman after she left work, says in an insurance office, and hold her captive, says while Marlowe sodomized her, says until they obtained her banking information, says then strangled her and dumped her body in the field. 5 days later, Marlowe and Kaufman assaulted and killed a 19-year-old woman, says from a dry cleaning shop. This is why you got to watch motherfuckers who come in your work, enter it, they look weird. You gotta be ready to smash motherfuckers. Says where she worked in Orange County. Says Marlowe, in addition, was charged in the 1986 murder for hire killing of a man in Kentucky. So they had killed some other people. These just murderous motherfuckers. And so this broad finds her stupid ass on death row too. She was dude was fucking the shit out of her. She's dickmatized. And let's see, go down here and just look at the racial makeups. Like I say, black folks can get caught up on this undisciplined gang-related shit. Wouldn't be having the maximum numbers that you see on here. Majority of these motherfuckers is gang-related shit. The shit these white folks are doing is some other shit. White people ain't got gangs, so they gangs that get smashed. So they white flight and ran off, and they still do they wicked ass shit. White folks ain't been flooded with drugs. So here go Lil Fee from Rolling 60s, the one who committed the crimes of killing all these people. I was listening to the Monster Cody interview on Kev Max show, and he was talking about when he ran into Lil Fee because they had been shooting at each other. They both end up going to prison over shooting at each other, and then he was charged with the murders that we're gonna read got him. I think he had a death penalty. Then when he go to prison. So when Little Fee go to prison, he the one who stabbed Tookie and shit. So he ended up stabbing Tookie while he's in there. And then the person he killed was the mother of an NFL player from the Rams, who as a kid, he played in his youth summer program. And then my teacher, who I brought on here, the greatest American educator, one of them, because I have multiple great educators at Washington, but Donald Bacure is one of the greatest anybody has ever been taught by, and he's also the guy whose book Crips was turned into the movie South Central. So like I said, I'll be like, my life has been unique. I love this shit. So this Taekwon Cox, better known as Lil Fee from Rolling 60s, he committed the crime in 84, 4 victims and young people. Not about to wave no free him and none of that shit. Crimes are sinister. Cox was a street gang member on parole. Says when he and accomplices sought to carry out a contract killing. So he did a contract killing for some old piece of shit club owner. Says these killers went to the wrong address and executed NFL player Kermit Alexander. That's who it was. Kermit Alexander's mother, sisters, and 2 nephews. Says on death row, Cox stabbed another condemned inmate. Says, and the condemned inmate is Tookie Williams. So he stabbed Tookie. Says condemned inmate, says, and he was part of a 2000 escape attempt. Alexander is one of the most prominent voices behind Proposition 66. says, which would speed up the appeals process and allow faster, executions. So he wants to get it over with, either give him his pill or he wants to die. So he's been in death row for 39 years and 10 months. So that's back when this article was, he's been on death row longer than that, because this article is from 2019. So this got to be about 45 years he's been, or 44 years that he's been in prison. All right, so that's Taquan Cox, or better known as Lil Fee. So I'm just going through the women, and I'm gonna go through a bunch of these other cats. Seeing people who I know. Let me see. This dude looked familiar. 93, history of robberies, fatally shot Sacramento man who was entering check cashing business. Let me see. Let's go on. I'm gonna show the dude who Deuce Time had a fight with. Here go another chick. Let me pull her up. Her name is Carrie Dalton. She's 63. She got one victim down in San Diego. Bitch, look high. So this is back in 88. So Dalton, a meth addict. Yep, she look high. She's a meth addict. Says, and two accomplices beat and torture to death a woman she believed had stolen her jewelry, injecting her with battery. Oh my God. Damn, this is a wicked hoe. Says injecting her with battery acid. Where the fuck do you get battery acid? Says, and electrocuting her before dismembering and disposing of the body. Says the victim was, oh my God, damn, somebody told her. This is a sick bitch. But imagine if she got out of prison and she got to go into witness protection, change her name and all that shit. A sucker motherfucker will marry this broad. Damn, these some crazy bitches. Let me see who else we got on here. So this one, the fool's too incompetent. We read his story. He too incompetent and died because he act stupid as a motherfucker. All right, keep going. Oh, look at this crazy ass fool. What the fuck this fool do? 78 now, out in Riverside. Says Daniels was paralyzed, says from the waist down after being shot by police following a bank robbery. So this fool just can't get right. So he paralyzed after robbing some shit. Says when two Riverside police officers came to the home, says where he was bedridden, says to take him to prison, says for the robbery, says he shot and killed both of them. God damn. Wait, I'm lost on, hold on, let me pull up his story. How the fuck he do that? So wait, hold on. How is he paralyzed? So he must have committed a robbery before. Daniels was paralyzed from the waist down after being shot by police following the bank robbery. So at the bank robbery, they shot him. Did he go to prison for that shit? It says when two Riverside police officers came. Oh, wait, following the bank robbery. Okay, so he had a shootout. Hold on, let me read this story. Let me make sure that's right. Man, he didn't kill both of the cops. They said, nigga, you got to die. You can kill one of ours. It says condemned person, Jack C. Oh, he's dead now. So this guy died in 2024. So let me see. Let me read his story. It says was most recently sentenced. Okay, so here he is. Oh, this nigga crazy. Let me show his picture of what this nigga looked like when he's about to die. This nigga is insane. Yeah, the police fucked up not going in his house carefully because him as an older dude, this nigga just looked like a nut. It's a crazy motherfucker right here. I'm gonna leave this shit up because I think I'll find some of these prison fools. Condemned person Jackson died. So October 17, 2004. So Daniels was most recently sentenced by Riverside County, says on January 31st, 1984, and placed on condemned status. Says he was convicted of first-degree murder for killing two Riverside police officers on May 13, 1982. During the attempted arrest, says on Daniels for bank robbery. Says prior to this event, says Daniels was received by Riverside County, says on May 15th, 1981. Says he was sentenced to 13 years for robbery, says with the use of a firearm, assault with a deadly weapon, says on a peace officer. The peace officer is a police officer, says in possession of a firearm as a felon, says in an enhancement due to his prior prison term. Says he was released on bail, and court supervision, says on June 4th, 1981, thereafter committed his condemned crime. So he can't get fucking right. He can't get right. So he did this 81, he's out. And then this fool gets sentenced about a year after that. This fool is crazy. This fool is crazy. Look at this wicked ass. Oh, wicked ass nigga is crazy, homie. This fool crazy. Let me go back to some more of these comments. Give me one second. That fool is crazy. And then let me see. He says, I don't know if it's him. He said he had a fade. Dusine says it was a tie. Says he was big like me. What was y'all fighting over? It was over some gang shit. You dissed his neighborhood, he dissed yours or something. And the Picasso says everybody gangs because no matter where says everybody's gangs is because no matter where I've traveled, I see graffiti. And Go Young DJ says no. It says Kermit Alexander says is the one who wants to pass laws to speed up the appeals. Oh, okay, I read that wrong then. And the Deuce Time says, I thought Lil Feet killed Dennis Johnson from the Celtics people. No, that was from the Rams. He killed that Rams players. And the Picasso says each one of these motherfuckers says look rough around the edges. Yeah, that old nigga look rough than a motherfucker. Like, yeah, he a crazy ass fool. Nigga, police kind of rob him. Said, nigga, I had a right to rob them banks. Bow, bow. Nigga shooting out with the cops. Crazy old motherfucker. So he's dead now. So this nigga look crazy. That's why I clicked on his photo, because this nigga just look crazy. And these their most modern, recent, updated little pictures and shit. Let me see. This the boys fool look familiar. You see the boys and two other men follow women out of a casino. Says robbed and shot her. Says and put her in the trunk of her car and set it on fire. She died fire. Damn, she lived through that. This out there in LA in 1997. Then they filed. Wait, the one homie, the homie had a girl. No, this is before that. He's too young. One of the homies had a girl that he was fucking with, whose sister was found burnt up in a car. So no, that ain't her, because this happened in the 2000s. Let me see him go through some of these other fools. But it's crazy seeing all these black people on this shit. This fool look familiar right here. Let me see, this from LA. It says Dixon and two brothers abducted a woman in Pomona, forced her to empty her bank account, says, and it slit her throat, says, and left her body in the mountains. Man, you niggas is crazy. This fool is crazy. He was the same age as me. Let me see. Oh no, he's a little older than me because it's from 2019. Fucked up ass dude. Let's see. Let's keep going. Let me see. Let me find the chicks. Oh, here go another chick. So another snow bunny. Her name is Skylar J. Dillon. Oh, wait, no, it's a fucking, is he a tranny? It says Dillon poised as a prospective buyer of a yacht owned by a Newport Beach couple. Said, oh, this nigga a tranny, homie. Fucking bitch made dude. Says he convinced them, says to take him and two other men out to sea. Says where the three men threw the couple overboard, DeLeon and John Kennedy, says were sentenced to death. Says the other man, DeLeon and something wife were sentenced to prison, says for their parts in the crime. So this is a fool turned into a fucking train. It ain't even a chick. Let me see, where's the other people at? But like I said, this shit's filled with black folks, and on the female side of thing, on death row is nothing but women. This white dude look like Debo. This nigga look like Debo and shit. It says Irving killed Lansing County Sheriff Deputy, says responding to a report of domestic violence. So that fool's all right. Here go another lady. So here go this lady. Let's guess she killed her kids. Eubanks shot and killed her 4 children, ages 4 through 14. The 14-year-old should have got away. Said she must have killed them in their sleep. Says then shot herself in the abdomen but survived. Fuck piece of shit ass bitch. Sorry ass whore. Let's see where else we at. These some crazy motherfuckers, man. And it's crazy California ain't executing more of these fools. Here go the Grim Sleeper. For those remember this case out there in South Central in the 8 trays. Where the documentary on this fool is off the hook, and how they fucking found this dude. That case, it ain't off the hook because the police failed in how long he was able to go on his killing spree, probably killing something like 60 women, they believe. Says Franklin Dell, the grim sleeper, says because of an apparent break in his killings. Says killed 9 women and a teenage girl from 85 to 2007. Detectives believe he may have killed at least 25. That's at the least. They say he may be responsible for something like 60 plus murders out there in LA involving prostitutes and homeless chicks. Says he targeted women, says who were drug addicts or prostitutes, says and often dumped their naked bodies along roads or in the trash. And I think when I was a kid, because I remember when I was a kid at Woodcrest, I remember hearing some friends of mine talk about their cousins came across a dead body before. And let me see, where else we at? Where we at on? Oh, wait. Here go the fool, dudes. This the dude I'm talking about who killed them cops in the park across the street from CJ and them house. That fool, he's from Young Crowds. Freddie Favia, how do you say his name? He says Favia killed the Los Angeles County Sheriff deputy in exchange of gunfire, says during a gang sweep in the community. And I used to trip. This is why I used to trip with the Linwood Sheriff's Department, where I used to be tripping off of them, always stopping cars. I used to sit on that wall at the park. This one I used to enjoy going in the park to either shoot basketball, play on the slides and the swings and shit. And there'd be times I wouldn't do that shit because I used to always wonder why the police is always pulling people over there. And so I used to be wondering, sitting there intrigued with, like, let me see, because I used to want to learn the rules of how to drive and shit, like the rules of driving, because I was always assuming these people were doing something wrong. And the more I sit there and be watching, oh, did they cross that lane? Because there used to be a car game on a Nintendo used to play with that red Ferrari. And then a police car come at you, and I didn't know if you switching lanes wrong or something. Was that what they were doing? What they were always pulling over Mexican people. Then when we be in the park, you'll see the sheriffs. I don't know if you remember, Deuce, when the sheriffs used to drive in the park, and they used to always be fucking with the young crowds and shit. And so they getting with this dude. And I remember that's the night when we going back because Karen used to come get us. And we're going out there, and we couldn't get in there. It took them a while to even let us to get to their house because they had that they're looking for that dude. They're looking for this dude, and they had the park and all that shit blocked off, and that fool ended up smoking that cop. Let me see if I go into a quick story on his case. There was no disputes, defendant killed. Okay, let me go into this one. This might be a quick one on the details of that. When did he commit that shit? That was in 95. I remember that shit because the first time I seen that shit take thought. And then you would have not that long after that, that same damn police department would kill Tony and shit. They'll kill their neighbor Tony and shit. Man convicted. Damn, come on, LA Times. Let me pull this article up. We in here reading LA Times. Yeah. Let me try to get this one article up from LA Times on this dude's case here that I got on the screen. Guilty of killing this sheriff out there who, with being as a Linwood Sheriffs, which is Linwood Sheriffs is known for how they talk about the gangs, the little gangs in the LA Sheriffs. Linwood is that fucking department where the prominence of that shit existed with these white sheriffs in there doing all this bullshit. Test 595, boom, 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 gang enforcement detail, dun. Addition on patrols, 50. The side of the trucks that have been painted to resemble. Hold on, let me find. Dust approach. Okay, this is leading into what this guy did. I'm gonna pull this up. Okay, yeah, this is good. This is good right here. I'm gonna pull this little quick breakdown of his case. So his situation happened. Let me see if Dude said he remembered this shit. Because I don't know if you was going over there with us when that nigga got killed, but I don't know if you remember when them niggas is over there, the sheriffs be always fucking with these people. And he says, the Acosta says, check out a few years ago, since a massive grave of people since it's found in New Mexico, Albuquerque, not New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Picasso. Says, and was blamed on some old dude in prison, says already wheelchair bound. So let me go into Favia, says Freddie Favia situation. The young, I think he even Samoan, but he was from the young crowd, which is the gang over there. So he used to be always in the park. You had Polk Street, which is the black gang over there, the Crip gang over in the area. And then the police will always fuck with him. Like I said, I used to always be wondering, like watching the police just constantly pulling over Mexican people. And I'd be sitting on that wall just wondering, like dang, I'd be scratching my head because I used to always watch people. We riding somebody, I'd be watching like where to exit to knowing how to get home from like far places, how you supposed to change lanes. And I used to always wonder, like when I see messages coming down, them sheriffs just constantly pulling people over. And I was always intrigued by that shit. Then they'll be driving their cars through the park, fucking with the little young Mexican dudes from Young Crowd. And I guess this dude had enough of it. He blasted them cops. So this is the case. So after a jury trial, defendant Freddie Alvarez was convicted of first-degree murder of Los Angeles County Sheriff Deputy Stephen Blair. Says in the premeditated attempted murder of Blair's partner, Deputy Robert Lyons, who is probably lying about that shit, says the jury found true the two special circumstance allegations that the murder of Deputy Blair was committed for the purpose of avoiding and preventing a lawful arrest. Says in that Blair was a peace officer engaged in the performance of his duty. Says when defendant knowingly and intentionally killed him. Says no, that's because these cops is always fucking with these dudes, and that's even like the other cat that we known growing up and always going over to CJ and them dad house, who we was always close in age with, Tony, where the same sheriff department shot him in the back, killing this dude. Says additionally, says the jury found true the allegations that defendant personally used a firearm in the murder and attempted murder. Says previously had been convicted of a serious felony. Says and has served 2 prior prison terms. So that's where he fucked up. This dude in out of prison. Says the jury returned a verdict, says of death, says for the murder of Deputy Blair. Says the trial, trial court denied defendant motion, says for a new trial and the automatic application of the modified verdict and sentence defendant to death. Says this appeal is automatic. Says we affirm judgment. So the guilt phase says there is no dispute at the trial that the defendant shot and killed Deputy Blair. Says the evidence concerning the circumstances of the shooting, says, however, was conflicting. Says the prosecution theory of the case was that the defendant, a convicted felon, they always run that shit. He's a convicted felon. We convicted him. That means anything he does, he's guilty of, regardless of the circumstance, even dealing with gang-infested police department, wicked crooked motherfuckers out of the Linwood sheriffs. It trumps this fool being a convicted felon. It's all that matters. All he knows is crime. So a convicted felon says who was carrying 2 handguns in violation of the law. Says in the conditions of his parole, says open fire on the deputies in order to avoid being arrested and return to prison. I mean, that's probably true too. That's probably true. That's probably very true why he did that shit. Says wait, what month was that? Hurry up. What month was that? Because I want to know what time was that when that crime committed. I just want to know for what time, because it was dark when we was coming up over there. I don't think it gave a time on this one. I just remember it was dark when we was going over and we couldn't get in there for a long time. That's the first time I ever heard of a cop getting shot, was this dude doing this shit. So the prosecution's theory, let me see, I'll pass it. Oh, the defendant, so here it is. Said the foregoing appearance, says the defense version of the event says was that Deputy Blair instigated the gunfire by shooting at by shooting at an unarmed friend of the defendant's. Says and then turned his weapon on the defendant. Says when the defendant tried to intervene. Says that the defendant says fire only at Blair, not Deputy Lyons, in order to protect his friend and himself from Deputy Blair's attack. And I agree with that. Because these damn sheriffs are foul as fuck. And especially when you're dealing in this era, no body cam. Prosecution evidence says Deputy Lyons testified that in 1995, that's just like in Vegas, you had a cop out here doing drive-bys on motherfuckers. And I think that cop was just released or he was fighting to be released. They had a cop out here doing drive-bys on niggas and targeting people based on their race. I think he killed a Mexican person. So Deputy Lyons says testified that in 1995, he and Deputy Blair says served in the gang enforcement detail within the sheriff's department. Says for the evening of Friday, okay, May. So it got dark around. So May gets dark at 8. So we got there late. We got there late because it's dark. Says for the evening of Friday, and remember, it's Friday. We used to always go to their house on Fridays. We spend the weekend over there. Says May 12, 1995. Says the gang detail says was assigned to conduct says a saturation patrol in the area surrounding the sheriff's department Sentry Station, says which included the city of Linwood. Says the saturation patrol meant that in addition to normal patrol deputies in the area, the 50 deputies in the gang detail says wearing standard sheriff's deputies uniforms and patrolling and 25 marked patrol vehicles also will be in the area investigating and responding to gang-related incidents. Before the beginning of their patrol duties, the gang detail received a briefing concerning recent gang activities in the area, says including information regarding a gang known as Young Crowds. The deputies were shown photographs of an inoperable pickup truck, says that had recently been recovered from the yard of a Young Crowd gang member. Says the passenger side door of the truck says had been painted to resemble a sheriff's department patrol vehicle. The area around the white door had been painted black with the word sheriff, says in the six-pointed star had been painted on the door. Says also written on the door were the phrases, says the crowd, says all can be, says what he says, the crowd, all you can be, says fuck these, says with the arrow pointed at the word sheriffs. Says don't hide behind the badge, fools. Says fuck the sheriffs. And the crowd's going to get you. Says the door in the area around it says had a number of holes in the metal, says that resemble bullet holes. Says the deputies were told that a number of firearms, including AK-47 assault rifles and shotguns, were found inside the house in front of which the truck had been parked. Lyons testified that shortly before 8 p.m. So yeah, it is at night. It's at night. And they, like I said, they should be over there fucking with these dudes on criminal ass shit. So I can understand why this dude. I can understand the sheriff's version of this shit about the dude not want to go back to prison, maybe. But I also believe this dude's part about the sheriff opening fire on his friend and him having to protect himself. I believe that shit. Because once again, we have Tony, who lived next door to CJ and them dad, who had been gunned down, shot all in his back by the fucking same police department. Not many years after that shit. So I don't put nothing past these motherfuckers. So continuing on with this case with this young dude. So Lyons testified shortly before 8 p.m. says on May 12th, 1995, says when it was approaching dusk, says Blair and he says we're patrolling the Linwood. Says Blair was driving, says because he was more familiar with the area, having worked out of the former Linwood station. Says as the deputies approached an intersection, Lyons recognized they were in the area described during the briefing as Young Crowd's territory. Blair turned on to Walnut Avenue, says a residential street, says that dead ended in the park, and that's the park that we would play at. Says Lyons saw two young men, says who he believed might be gang members based on the clothes they were wearing. So profiling. Standing together on the sidewalk, not committing a crime, just standing on the sidewalk, is approximately 50 feet from the front of the patrol car. Lyons noticed the two men glance over their shoulders at the patrol guard for an instant. Says and then started walking towards the park because it'd be the gates that are leading to the park. Says in the same direction that the deputies were traveling. Lyons testified that seconds later, says the shorter of the two men reached into his jacket pocket, says, and removed a large object, says, and threw the object over his shoulder, says, in a motion similar to a hook shot, says, in basketball, and to a yard. Lyons said to Blair, says, we have a toss, meaning that he suspected the men had thrown either a weapon or drugs. Says after throwing the item, says the shorter man stop walking. Says while the taller man continued walking towards the park at an increased pace. Lyons testified that Blair says you get the shorter guy, says I'll get the taller guy, says and pull the patrol car, says over approximately 5 feet from the front of the shorter man, says who had thrown the item. Lyons started to get out of the car, says before it completely stopped because he was expecting the shorter man to run away. Says after taking a couple of steps towards the front of the patrol car, Lyons heard a series of 5 rapid guns. So Lyons never saw what happened, but he can come in court and testify. I don't know why they didn't challenge that. Gunshot says that he believes to be bullets traveling by him, says traveling by him to his left. Says Lyons testified he was not able to tell from which direction the shots came, but he initially thought the gunfire had come from behind him. Says Lyons looked towards the other side of the patrol car and saw that Blair, who was right-handed, had his right hand on top of the door, says, and was pulling himself out of the car. Lyons then saw Blair start reaching for his firearm, says, and crouched down in a defensive position. Lyons also crouched down, says, and drew his weapon, says, observing that the taller man, says, was sprinting towards the park. Says while the shorter man remained in the front of the patrol car, Lyons began moving towards the rear of the patrol car, says, and heard a second, slower series of approximately 8 shots. Says he thought that these gunshots, which sounded different from the first set, says were coming from in front of him. Says and could have been Blair shooting at the truck, says the truck parked to the side of the patrol car. Says these shots sounded as if they had been fired by a gun. Says by a gun different from the first. Says and more like shots fired from a standard issue 9mm pistol, says the deputies carried. Lyons called to Blair, says but received no response. Says after circling around to the rear of the patrol cars, Lyons saw the unresponsive Blair face down on the pavement, so he laid him down. Says bleeding from the mouth. Says Blair's service weapon, says which had been fired, says was in his right hand. Says he was transported to a hospital, says but died, says from two gunshot wounds. Says Blair had been shot once in the neck, and once in the shoulder by the same 44 caliber handgun. Says one of the bullets severed the aorta, says which would have caused the immediate cessation of blood flow, says with the cessations of blood flow from his organs. Says a person suffering such injury, however, could engage in purposeful activity, says including firing a weapon, says for possibly as long as 6 seconds after the wound was inflicted. The trajectory of the bullets passing through Blair's body were consistent with his leaning forward and turning when he was hit. All right, so that's that situation. I ain't gonna go over the whole thing. So that's what this dude did, and it's funny talking about that one, and then his picture comes up on here, and so that's that dude. From there, I don't ever remember seeing him at the park. Really, I don't remember facial wise or recognizing a lot of people we used to see in the park. I just remember like that's the first time like really seeing Mexican gang members. This the same park where I be talking about where Deuce would walk in there and be punching on Mexican people. Let me see. This Ricky Fowler dude looked familiar than a motherfucker. Fowler set the old fires, says that burned 93,000 acres in San Bernardino Mountains, destroying 1,000 structures, says, and causing the heart attack death of 5 men. And this is 2003. Ricky Fowler looked like this piece of shit motherfucker. I got to check this one. He looked like that piece of shit white dude in my army unit, the one I went to basic training with. I told a story on here before of him stealing his roommate's fucking car and shit. He ended up stealing his roommate's car, but there's a golfer named Ricky Fowler. That's not him. This fool ended up stealing his roommate's car and crashing that shit. He looked almost just like this fool here. Let me see. Did they say anything about this dude serving in the army or some shit? But he looked just like this fool. I'll pull this case up later. Let me see, because it's getting late. So he burnt all these acres, but he looked just like this dumb motherfucker. That's how that dude, the dude almost looked. The one who I was talking about, I was in the army with, who did that shit, still in that dude's car. And then when they bring him back in there, because he's a white dude, bring him back in, this motherfucker, to the unit to guess chapter him out or court martial him. And he over in the barracks, and then he back in there drinking and shit. And he was gonna tell the story about what had happened on the night he stole this motherfucking car. It took everything for that white dude not to whoop his motherfucking ass. Let me see. Did this fool serve in the army? That's why I'm trying to look on if they get anything about this nigga life. I'm about to say this could be this motherfucking dude. Let me see. No, I don't see anything about so, but this fool end up burning a bunch of acres. But that's how that white dude look, who I tell that story about. So he got death because 5 people died from a heart attack over that shit. So, but yeah, this is crazy one. That's the dude who killed that cop in that park over there by CJ and them house. There's always some shit involving that police department, because then you have where the dude Tony gets killed by cops and shit. So let me see. We're gonna go through the chicks on this shit. This look like a tranny. This ain't no woman. It like a fucking dude. Fusing. Oh, Jessica. Oh wait, no. I think this is a dude. It says being born. So diagnosed bipolar, says, but refusing medication. Hand killed his 2 infants. Says each within weeks of being born. Says after becoming enraged by their crimes. Says the crimes were committed in Vermont and California. So this fool of fucking tranny motherfucker. It ain't even a fucking chick. So the white dude's turning the motherfucking chicks and shit. And let me see what else we got on this motherfucker. There's so many people on this shit. Let me see if I recognize anybody as well. Damn, because there's a lot of black motherfuckers on here. Let me see. And then all the chicks on here are white. That's the other thing that's a trip about this one. And I'm gonna show the dude who said he fought, who was well known California inmate or gamer who did some real crazy sinister shit. Let me see. Let's see. This fool Livingston was on here for some shit. Livingston says a member of Park Village Crips in Compton shot rival blood gang members. In 1999, Livingston shot 4 security guards, killing 2. This nigga was a murderous ass dude right here, David Livingston. So he straight up psychopath. And let's see. Let me see. Oh, I go another chick right here. So he go a crazy ass chick. Let's guess. So says Magina says, and her boyfriend says beat her 2-year-old son, says and scolded him. Says he died of the trauma, says to the head, and sepsis, says from his untreated wounds. And let me see. I think Riverside County. I think this is the bitch where that dude, that little kid was going through all that shit. This old scandalous bitch. Let me see if she the one. What's this kid name? I think till this day they talk about this kid's death, I believe. But what's the name of this kid? If this the one, who it'd be a lot of these old sorry bitches bring these dudes around and allow these dudes to fucking abuse their kids and shit. No, this ain't the case of that chick who lied that shit. And then let me see, we got some more comments. And the Matthew says, I remember that car story in Killeen. But what car story? The car story in Killeen. And then Goldie DJ says, Goldie from Park Village says on there. And then he says, yep, says that's him. Says, yep, that was him. Talking about the white dude I just showed on here from Park Village, Compton Crip. And let me see, here go another white lady. Says her name is Valerie D. Martin. She killed 1. Let me guess, as a kid. Says along with her, says Martin. So Valerie Martin, along with her 2 teenage sons, and a convict, says, and a convict, says, beat the man and whose mobile home she lives. Says put the body in the trunk of his car and set the vehicle on fire. Living with a motherfucker and do this shit. Didn't get away from it. And her 2 kids, I'm pretty sure, in prison too. What an idiotic bitch. Motherfucker just, and that be them old cats that do that shit. Just move, be lonely and just move a bitch in. That bitch come with all kind of baggage, and they gonna do some wicked shit to get rid of it. And then a lot of times these bitches be drug addicts. I'm telling you, it's a lot of suck ass dudes who put themselves in some real compromising situations and shit. And so here go another old bitch, Merlin McDermott. She's 69. She responsible for 1 murder. McDermott hired 3 men to kill the man she lived with so she could inherit the house and collect $100,000 life insurance. Why the Reg can't do it? The Reg can't do that marriage shit. Don't know none of these bitches. I just be wanting to fuck them. Can't put nothing past them because I don't know who raised them. This crazy motherfucker. I thought it was the dude out of Fresno who was having all these kids with his kids. I thought that was this fool. So McKnight was in prison for attempting to kill 3 women. Says when DNA evidence linked him to the slaying of 5 women a decade earlier. Good, y'all found this fucking piece of shit ass dude. Says their bodies were found beaten and raped. Says at the time of the killings, he was enlisted in the Navy and stationed in Treasure Island in San Francisco Bay. So he's a military motherfuckers in there doing shit. Something wrong in this motherfucker head. Got his ass up out of there. DNA evidence. Let me see. Where else we at? And I'm going to show the dude who dude's talking about. Here go another chick. Another chick. Ain't no black women on this shit, but let me not say that because black chicks about the dumb shit they doing on here, fighting and shit all the time. Michelle McHard, however you say her name, she, for one person, McHard and her boyfriend, James Davis Gio, says lured a student into a van, says rigged with hooks, says where they sexually assaulted and tortured her, says before dumping her body. Says they had similarly sexually assaulted 6 other women, says both were condemned. Fucking sorry ass bitch. She looked nasty in her fucking arrest photo. Motherfuckers is foul. Some wicked ass people out here. Let me see who else we got on here. And then I'm gonna skim through this list. You see this fool saying quitting prison. Let me see who this fool is. So says Mitchell says killed the sales manager and salesman, says that a Colton used car lot after his girlfriend bought a car there. Says he then went to an apartment complex, says where he killed the teenage boy, says and shot the boy's brother. Fucking idiot. What a fucking idiot. Over some shit dealing with his chick where she brought a car. Fucking idiot. Telling these niggas be on here. When you look at what people kill people for, man, it's some of the just dumbest shit. When we live around some of the most unstable people who be fucked up in the head and they get all these chances and shit. Let me see. Just looking for familiar people. Here go. Is this a bitch? What is this? No, it's a fucking dude. He looked like a bitch. Let me see. Okay, here go a lady here. She looked Asian. So Tanya Nelson, 52. She got 2 victims from Orange County. Says after she lost her house, says in her business failed, Nelson returned from North Carolina, says to seek retaliation against her longtime fortune teller. Crazy bitch. Says she convinced an accomplice, says to kill the woman, says while she stabbed the woman's daughter to death. Damn. Vicious motherfucker. Crime committed in 2005. And she got her ass a good old death sentence. Stupid ass bitch. Let me see. Who else we got on here? Wait, this fool, Nelson, I think I heard this story. Let me see. Sergio Nelson says at 19, Nelson executed 2 Target store co-workers because he believed he had been passed, because he believed he had been passed over for promotion in the stockroom. So this dumb motherfucker killed somebody over stockroom promotion. Fucking dummy. Okay, here go another lady. So this is Sandy Nieves, 52. 4 victims. Nieves set fire to her house, killing her 4 daughters. Oh, bitch. 5 through 12. And you got a number of whites in here. So it's a lot of whites in California death row, but it's a lot of black motherfuckers. Now I gotta go through the black ones. Here go this punk. That's Scott Peterson, hoe ass. Look at this piece of shit. He's highly publicized murder case. Peterson says killed his pregnant wife Lacey over another bitch, over some pussy. What a piece of shit. Then you got the essays in here with the tats on them and shit. Let me see. Let me recognize some of the black folks in here. This fool been, look, he been here for a long time. This gotta be an old person. He been here since 83. It says after release from prison, Price began a series of violent robberies and killed 2 homeowners. Says from whose homes he stole guns. Says one of the victims was the father of an Aryan Brotherhood gang member who had testified against the prison gang. So he got revenge for the white power. So white power with no power. So the white no power, he got revenge for that shit. Let's see, where we at? All right, here go a little dyke ass bitch. So her name is Sherry Rhodes, 47. She got 4 victims. Says she's a former chairwoman of the Cedarville Ranchera tribe of the Northern Paiute. So she's supposed to be Indian. She don't look Indian to me. Maybe she wanted a $5 Indian. It says first shot, then stabbed victims during a tribal meeting to decide if she would be evicted from tribal housing because she don't look Indian. So she took it out on killing these people. This is in 2014. So they're just kicking her out because she was an imposter ass Indian. And she took their lives. Fucking bitch. Here go another chick. Angela Rodriguez, 48. She did this in 2000. So Rodriguez took a $250,000 life insurance policy on her husband, then began trying to kill him. Oh, that's why I can't do the marriage shit. No, man, how the fuck can a motherfucker do a life insurance on you? Fuck no. No, I don't need no life insurance, bitch. I'm gonna live forever. She tried feeding him poisonous, oleander leaves, says, and leaving an open gas line in the house. Then she tainted his Gatorade with antifreeze, which, oh my God. That's why I'm glad I like to cook. Fuck all that shit. That I'm one of the weight of my heart, bitch, ain't through no cooking. I'm glad I'm one of them motherfuckers. I've been put on all this weight, but it ain't from me being just a glutton for food and shit. Like, fuck that, bitch. I don't need you cooking for me. I can cook. Like, so that's one way I ain't gonna go out unless I slip up. And then Brooks Rogers is 36, 2006. She did this. Says Ryder led two-day laborers, says to a motel room where she promised to have sex with them. Says with 2 male accomplices, she attacked and robbed them. Says she then gagged the victims until they suffocated. So she a real poor ass bitch. So if you up there robbing laborers, those which are the immigrant folks who sit outside of Home Depot that look for work from people needing whatever little round the house shit, which can be dangerous as well. And it just shows how people try to cut corners and to save money that they bring these type of people into their homes. But rather than her bringing them into the home, she was going to fuck them for money, but she robbed them because the bitch is such a low-life bitch. Mary Samuel, 69, she got 2 victims from LA County. After contracting for the murder of her husband so she could collect his assets. Cold shit. Samuels then arranged the murder of the man who had set up her husband's killing for her. So she kills her husband, then was going to pay somebody else to kill this motherfucker. God damn, what a cold bitch. What a cold fucking bitch. Damn. Let me see. Where else we at? It's crazy when you see women on shit. I pull her one up. I pull hers up. They're responsible for beating their nephews. So their nephews are in their care. They killed them. I had that one up. Let me see who else I recognize. I think this is where that Hoover dude is at. That dude's had the fight with. I'm gonna pull him up, make sure him. This is the other dude I was pulling up. This dude, I thought he was from Hoover, but this dude had did something. So they say he's from Compton, but I think they got that wrong. I think this dude is from Hoover. So his name, so this is Compton gang members Short and Jamal Tucker. No, they're from Hoover. Sentenced to life for previous murder, says killed another inmate, says while awaiting trial in Los Angeles County, Los Angeles on other charges. So it was him and the dude who I think Deuce fought. These dudes, I think, went out there and they killed that dude. They made drive out there that they knew they robbed him for his car, drove him way out to Pomona or some shit, and then killed his auntie and all them and robbed him. But the dude Deuce fought, let me see where he at. Because he ended up killing somebody else as well. But no, not this one. That clicked on that one by accident. It says Smith and accomplice killed an 18-year-old former high school football player. Says Smith pleaded guilty to shooting someone. Says in 1984 bank robbery. So this is how this dummy ended up on death row in 94. But let me see. So that's that dude. Let me see where the one that Deuce had to fight with. Hold on. Here go another chick. Let's see. Jalen Snyder, 37. See, yeah, the snow bunnies is dangerous, homie. These snow bunny bitches is some dangerous motherfucking women. Snyder and Michael Thornton says preyed on teen girls they abducted. They fed drugs too, sexually assaulted, tortured, and killed a 16-year-old girl they kidnapped in Las Vegas. Feel bad for that girl's parents. Snyder also admitted to killing a 15-year-old girl who had been missing for 5 years. What a nasty, disgusting piece of, you know the rest. Shit. Foul ass bitch. Fucking meth head ass whore. Let's see who else we got on here. Then we're gonna go through the list. Just scanning through here, getting the racial makeup of all these people you see on this death row shit. And just trying to see if anybody I recognize from growing up. Oh, let me see. These two are fools, brothers. 96, these fools out of San Diego. Thomas killed 2 men, says beaten to death. A neighbor says, and a month later, chasing down a man and fatally shooting him with a machine gun. What a psychopath. This is 96 down in San Diego. And I think this is his brother. Thomas, oh no, this is not his brother, somebody else. It says Regis Thomas, 46. In 1992, he killed 3 people. It says Thomas killed a man after an argument, says over mistaken identity, and later shot to death 2 Compton police officers. Damn, says who stopped him, stopped him on the road. Damn, fool, you definitely ended up on death row over that shit, fool. Crazy. Yeah, you crazy as shit. Okay, here's a black lady on this shit. Here go a black lady right here. See what her crazy ass did. Yeah, she looked crazy as fuck. One victim, LA County, Catherine Thompson. Catherine Thompson says was condemned for masterminding the shooting death of her husband. Here we go. Says auto shop owner says collect $400,000 life. See, fuck that marriage shit. Fuck that. Bitches is crazy. Motherfuckers be, oh man. Oh, here go that serial. Okay, here go the dude that Deuce Time had to fight with. This is him right here, Deuce. This is the dude you talking about. So, but I don't know why they put Compton. These dudes ain't Compton gang member. These dudes from Hoover. So Jamar Tucker. So this is the guy right here that Deuce talking about. And then what's that on his face? Or maybe, no, I think these dudes from Hoover. I think they from 107 Hoover. So is this, I don't know if Deuce is still in here. Is this him right here, Deuce? But yeah, he ended up getting killed. And then he ended up killing somebody. He ended up killing somebody in a fight that I hear what's the name tell the story about. I think this is the dude. And then you have the other dude. So here is Tucker and Daniel Short. So they were involved in that shooting, driving that dude out there, kidnapping that dude, driving him out there to his auntie house where they heard he had money stashed. He was friends with the dude as well. Just shows how fucked up some people are. A little sinister ass shit. So I think that is, if Deuce is in here, if this is the dude you talking about right here that you had to fight with. And let me see who else we got on here. This nigga was a serial killer. This nigga crazy as fuck. One of the well known it also with the Grim Sleeper. They was crossing between murders that they were thinking the Grim Sleeper committed, that this dude Chester Turner ended up committing shit. I think this dude was either from, I think he was even an A-Tray or a Hoover gang member as well. It says Turner killed 10 women, says including one who was pregnant. says in South LA, says in on LA Skid Row, says between 87 and 98. That's why he was crossing the murders with him and the Grim Sleeper. He strangled 8 women with his bare hands. Says he was convicted of 4 more murders in 2014. And this motherfucker was killing them while at work. He worked as a security guard down there, catch these women, do that kind of shit, rape these women and all that shit. Psychopath ass fool. Let me see. Who else we see on there? So a lot of Latinos. As you go, the whites are much older, but now you don't have too many of the whites on here, younger looking whites on here. You just got mainly black motherfuckers because of this gang shit. Oh, here go that stupid motherfucker out of Fresno. This is one of the worst motherfuckers on here, man. This dude is one of the worst on here. This dude is a real big time piece of nasty ass shit. He got to be the nastiest motherfucker out of all this shit on here. I don't know if y'all remember this shit. He the one who started that family cult where he in there fucking, it's sick. And it's going to this religious shit. These niggas who be thinking they gods and they preach all that kind of weird ass shit. And you get little bitch ass people that follow this shit because they have no belief in themselves and they paint other motherfuckers as God. They take teaching from these twisted ass, deceptive motherfuckers. So this Marcus Wesson, 70, having all these kids, he's having kids with his daughters and shit. The mother that he originally had these kids with, he met because her sorry ass mother allowed her to go off with this dude as like a 8-year-old girl or some shit. I think he knocked the mother up as a fucking 8, around that age, like she like 8 or something, and was allowed to be taken away from her parents. And then he started having kids with this young girl. And then from where she's having kids, he started having kids with his own daughters. And they believing he was God. And so it was all type of crazy shit. Let me pull his story up for those if people remember this nigga. He had that bus in front of his house. And the kids didn't know nothing. They couldn't get out. At one point, they lived on this little boat. When I used to do these little covering these stories, I did one on this chump ass dude. And then so when the police arrived because the daughters broke out. The daughters had broke out and came to the house to go save the other kids because they announced what he was doing to them and shit. And he walked in there. The police sorry as fuck with their jobs. He walked in there. He had these kids trained to kill. They believe in their dad being some kind of fucking God. He closed the doors, and all the cops here is shooting and shit. Those kids went in there and start killing their siblings and shit. And it was even hard for the surviving siblings to because they didn't know any better. They didn't know anything. This is part of brainwashing and all that other kind of shit involved in this fucking story with this sorry ass fucking dude. He created this cult, but where's the mother? Like all these kids is kids from like his daughters and shit. And he had them go in there and kill all of them. And this is this wicked looking motherfucker. That shit, that story right there is cold. So he got to be the worst on this fucking list here. This dude he was out of Fresno. He's the worst on this shit. Weston says the family co-leader ordered the deaths of nine of his children. Says all born of incest, says with his daughters. Says the mass murder was triggered, says by efforts of a niece, says to retrieve her children. She came there, rather than the police going in there, they allowed this guy to walk back in this motherfucking house. And he had the orders from the other young kids to go out there and kill all them kids. And then I think he killed them. That shit was foul. That was some foul shit. But yeah, he got to be the worst on this fucking list. He definitely got to be worse. Anybody tops that dude is an extremely piece of shit, vile ass person. So here go an Asian lady on here. So let's see what she did. Probably killed her husband. Yep. Mangling Williams, 37, 3 victims. So she stabbed her husband to death with a sword. God damn. And then she smothered the 2 sons, 7 and 3, says with a pillow in their says in their bunk beds. Damn, lady. This happened in 2007. And motherfuckers talking about they don't want the execution of motherfuckers. Man, you're fucking right. Speed it up. Let me see. I saw the Grim Sleeper on here earlier. Let's keep going. Fuckers in here defending these type of pieces of shit. There's so many of these motherfuckers on this list. All right, so let me go to the top. Let's see if it allows go next and next. All right, so we go with Billy Bob here. It says John C. Abel, 72, 91, one victim. Abel shot a merchant in the head as says that the victim left the bank. Says the victim left a bank parking lot. Says with 20,000. Oh man, dude, you cannot leave like that. 20,000 is you stupid. So let me filter this one. Let me go by time served. Let me see. Kill. No. Nah, let me leave this blank. Nah, you cannot do that shit. So this fool is Jason Aguirre, 41, says at the behest of the Dragon Family Gang, his fool for the Dragon Family Gang. Aguirre says fired into a car, says he was told to hell rival gang members. So they got white gangs. Says this is in Orange County. So this is the Orange County gang. They call it the Dragon Family Gang. Says the victim instead were family members who had gone out, says, for fish tacos. Says the youngest 13 bled to death. So his gang fooled his stupid ass. He thought to be down, he'll do this shit for these pieces of shit, fake ass friends of his. So Asaruero, what is that? Aguero, 38. He got one victim. Let me see this fool. I don't know how you say this fool name. Shit, got a foreign name. I don't know how to pronounce this shit. Let me see if I can pull up a quick story on his shit. Oh, he killed the kid. He killed the kid. So let me see. So where is he now? It says. Thing you need to know. It says has context. The girl had contacts with Gabrielle. Says when the latter says went to live with his mother. Says Pearl. Girl and the Pearl says began torturing Gabrielle because they believe he was gay. Says the torture escalated says to the point where girl forced Gabriel says to eat cat feces in addition to physical abuse. Oh wait, this may be the story. I thought of that other one with the kid. This the one where the mother was allowing this shit. This the one that really made the news out here. This the one that blew up on the news. Says still lies, is impossible to imagine. 8-year-old. I think this the one out there in, I want to say Harbor City. Aguirre says a resident of Palmdale, California, has been on death row since. Oh, it was in Palmdale. Let me make sure if this that story. This is the one that blew up where they was treating that kid fucked up. So yeah, this is the one I'm talking about. Oh, that was in Palmdale where the mother was doing that shit to her 8-year-old son. So this is the story. So this fool I got on the screen, this punk ass dude, shocked that he's alive. He says Deuce L1. So let me pull this story up. So this is the one I thought from that earlier one where it's talking about the dude tortured the kid and scolded him, but this is the kid that they blew up. They did that shit to this 8-year-old boy, says, who had died months after severe abuse and torture. Says his death resulted from a beating inflicted by his mother, Pearl Fernandez, and her boyfriend, who ain't even his fucking father. Said both were charged and says convicted of first-degree murder with special circumstances of torture. Says Pearl was sentenced to life imprisonment without parole, and the girl was sentenced to death. Says social workers associated with the case says were charged with child neglect and falsifying. And the social workers ought to be thrown in fucking prison for this shit. They ought to be thrown in prison for ignoring this shit. Says charged. So social workers called, and then it's pointless to like the children's services departments are pointless. So they had social workers associated with the case were charged with child neglect and falsifying public records due to their handling of the case. Ultimately, the charges were dismissed by an appeals court. Man, they should have been sentenced for that shit. It says Fernandez was placed in the care of a great uncle, Michael Lynn's career. I know that uncle got to feel fucked up. It says the career's partners, David. Wait, hold on. Oh, this is why they thought the kid was gay. He was raised by a gay ass uncle. 2009 says Fernandez was 4 years old. Says he went to live with his grandparents after his Grandfather voiced disapproval of him being raised by a same-sex couple. So the grandfather, Godwin Fernandez, remained with his grandparents until September 2012, when his mother and her boyfriend, Isario, says took him into custody. Says other family members expressed concern at this. Says due to Pearl's alleged neglect of her other children, and they let this kid go live with that motherfucker. It's fucked up. That's some fucked up shit. He's better off living with the damn homo relatives and shit. All right, so let me go into who else we got on this shit. Yeah, let's see. So that's who this dude is. I don't know why they didn't put the description of his crime. So this Rodney Akala, I ain't got to go through his. He was a very famous serial killer who was on that game show, the dating show. So the serial killer says who total victim count is unknown. He gets charged with 5. He was probably killing a bunch of them. When they show him on a game show, if you want to see this fool in that they do a whole documentary of serial killers. He part of that shit. He got the long ass hair and the little goofy ass white bitches all up on his fucking nuts. Not knowing they probably end up killed. They picked this fool. Because matter of fact, I think one of the girls, he won the show. One of the girls went on a date, and the girl was saying he was just kind of weird. You got these bitches always chasing love and shit. That's the one thing with me. I don't be wanting, because to me, that's the reason why I stay single, man. It be too many bitches just looking to be with somebody. Like, I bet you're impossible. You just accept anything. Like, fuck no. Like, hell no. You haven't been ran through. You accept anything. You be ready to marry anything. Like, I don't want no bitch that just talking about she ready to be married. That means anybody can marry you, and then you be married 4 and 5 times. I'm cool on that shit. Says he was convicted 3 times, says for the 1979 kidnapping and murder of a 12-year-old Robin Samsoy. Says the first 2 convictions says well returned. Says he also strangled to death. Says 4 Los Angeles area women. In 2013, confessed to killing 2 women in New York. Says during the 1970s, says he was charged in September 2016. Says for an 8th murder in Wyoming. So he's killing all over the country. And this fool they brought on TV and shit. And the Roman Aldina, 29, you got 2006 Riverside County, says Aldina convicted of torture and murder for killing a 16-year-old runaway, says who was living with him, says after he believed she had become pregnant. Sorry, motherfucker. And these fools be known to fuck with underage girls. Says he stabbed her more than 100 times. He's probably on meth too. And it's just unfortunate. Her parents, or this girl, whatever, I don't know if it's just solely on their parents or this a girl who just defiant as fuck, blaming her parents, runs away and runs into the arms of this piece of shit ass motherfucker and loses her fucking life. Like, that shit is, like, looking at these stories, some upsetting shit when people fucking put themselves in these positions. You got Andre Alexander, 64. He committed his in 1980. Alexander and another man attempted to rob 2 people, says who turned out to be Secret Service agents on a stakeout. You fucked up, killing one of the agents in the process. Alexander was charged more than a decade later. So I guess he went on a run. So he was on a run and shit. Says crime was committed in 1980. He stayed out for 1980, he stayed out for 16 years. And they stayed on the hunt on his ass. Ended up getting him 16 years later. Fool killed her. He knew to stay on the run. He killed that Secret Service agent. So so she skipped by. I didn't catch her. Maria Del Rosa Alfaro. She's in 1990, Orange County. One person, she's stabbed to death. The 9-year-old sister of a friend during a robbery of the girls. Oh my God. Phony ass bitch. Imagine that shit, going to court for that. Michael Allen, 44. He got 2 victims from 1991. This in LA. He was from Family Blood. So he's an A9 Family Bloods. Ain't that the Swans? Family Bloods member. Oh, wait, no, that is that Inglewood. Inglewood Family Blood, says Fat Rat, says known as Fat Rat. Allen's accused of helping shot caller Cleon. Oh, no, this fool is from Family Swans. He helped Big Devil, says Claymon Big Devil Johnson, says order the murders of 2 men. Says the state Supreme Court overturned the conviction in 2011. Ian Johnson says awaiting retrial, says in Los Angeles. Because Big Devil is a evil ass motherfucker. I think that's that dude from fucking from fucking the Swans. I think from Swans and shit. So 8-9 family. Ain't that on the east side or I think because I think they got the gangs wrong. I don't think that's Inglewood. They would have said Inglewood family. So they talking about the Swans. So this dude is on death row as well and waiting a retrial. Who knows? He probably was in there murdering if he was running with that dude. And then this Francisco Alvarez, 48, 2 people, Kern County. Says Alvarez says shook a 5-month-old boy to death. Says in 2 years later, says fatally beat a 4-year-old. So this bitch is out here having babies with this punk ass motherfucker who is a femicide. What do you call inficide people? I think they call no, is that female? What do you call people who kill little kids? Thought they call that femicide or some shit like that. But whatever he is, he's a fucking maniac who's an irresponsible, worthless piece of shit as a dude who will knock bitches up, get them pregnant, and then kill his own offspring. And he's still living in prison. Let me see if they ain't knocked this fool head off if he's living or not. But then again, I ain't gotta look that shit up because why would they kill people like that? Most of them in for the same kind of shit. Inficide. Thank you, Matthew. So inficide. Yeah, that's some way out shit. Motherfuckers had babies with this punk ass dude. He's just sitting there killing his own kids. It's fucking retarded, degenerate ass bitches. And it'd be crazy if the same bitch done had this retarded motherfucker's kid. Manuel E. Alvarez, 55, the Sacramento County in 87. One victim says on parole, says after serving a prison term for manslaughter. So he done served prison for killing somebody. He gets out, rapes a woman, says, and during a string of robberies, robbed the man for $60 at an ATM machine, stabbing the man fatally in the heart. That's my money at your ATM. You're taking my money out. I ain't got no money, but your money is mine. Fucking bitch. Fucking idiot motherfucker. Alberto Alvarez, 33, San Mateo County, 2006. Alvarez shot and killed in El Paso, in East Palo Alto. I'm just making up shit. He shot and killed an East Palo Alto police officer, says, during a foot chase. Says that the officer responded to reports of a fight outside of a restaurant. So he running from just a fight. Runs away, makes his situation even worse by turning and shooting at a fucking cop. That's some old paranoid ass shit. What a fucking idiot. Oswaldo Esmakawa, how you say that motherfucker's name? He got 4 victims, and this is in LA back in 2000. Asmakawa says in another game member, Joseph Flores says, were condemned for killing 4 people shortly after being released from prison. So they serve in prison, get released, and then smoke somebody. Says the victims included 2 teenage boys mistaken for gang members. So they didn't kill the right people. Now he about to spend the rest of his life aging, getting old, and gonna die fucked up while other family members move on, go miss his mommy and shit, pass away and all that shit. James Patterson, 2 victims. He committed this in 79 in Riverside. Alexander kidnapped, robbed, and killed a woman, says, and her grandmother, whose car has stalled alongside an interstate. Says he was accused of, but never tried for the killing of a third person. His sentence was overturned in 1987, says, but he was retried and again sentenced to death in 1991. So this is this damn fool. Just motherfuckers just don't know how to go about living a life right. He done been 40 at this time, so he's been in prison over 50 fucking years. It's fucking crazy. That shit is wild. And Eric says X Alexander, 42. So he killed 2003, San Diego Anderson, while on parole, murdered a local businessman during a botched home robbery. Says months earlier, says he killed a woman at a car. He killed the woman in a car crash. James Alexander, 66, is back in LA in 79. He got 3 victims. Let's see. During the robbery, says during the robbery of a drug dealer's apartment, Andrews killed 3 people and raping 1. So that's who this dude is. So callers argue, was that Argueta, 31, 2 victims, 2004. Los Angeles County, Argueta says shot and killed a man riding in the car on Valentine's Day. Says the next day, says with an accomplice, Argueta sprayed bullets from a submachine gun at a group standing outside a nightclub, killing a 12-year-old boy and injuring 2 others. What the fuck is a 12-year-old doing outside of a fucking nightclub? Oh my God. Pedro Arias, 54, says killed 1987 in Sacramento. Arias fatally stabbed a man during a gas station robbery, stealing a pack of beer and $45. 2 weeks later, he kidnapped, raped, and robbed a woman after hitting her car from behind. Fucking nasty ass piece of man, these some sick motherfuckers. But guess what be leading to a lot of this shit with these fools? These fucking drugs. Lorenzo Arias, 38, 4 victims, 2000 San Bernardino County. And a gang power grab says and the gang power grab says that became known as the dead president's case. Arias and 3 others says killed 4 men, including 2 presidents of cliques of the West Side Verduga gang. So he killed all these people. And this is Craigins Armstrong, 35. This out of LA, 2002. He got 3 victims. Says Armstrong killed the man he mistook, says, as a gang rival. Then killed the man's 2 brothers as they tried to investigate the murders. So they came looking for whoever did it. Did he kill them the same day or when they came out? Says the state Supreme Court overturned the convictions because a jury had improperly been removed from deliberations, allowing for a retrial. Pretty sure in the retrial, nigga was found guilty. So this out there in LA County somewhere in LA. And then this is Jamel. So Jamel Armstrong. Wait, is this other fool they just talking about? Let me see. Okay, this is somewhere else. It says Armstrong and 2 others killed a Long Beach woman, says who was tortured and sexually assaulted before her body was dumped on an embankment along the San Diego freeway. Also condemned was Kevin Peterson and Warren Hardy. So they did this to this woman, man. Was fucked up out there in Long Beach. Fucked up. Young ass dudes. Sayonara, buddies. This is Troy Ashmus, 54, 1 victim, 84, Sacramento. Ashmus says who worked at a carnival. Yeah, them carnival people be dope fiends. Says he worked at a carnival. Says in 1984, raped and suffocated a little girl. Stuffing cellophane bags stuffing cellophane bags in her own shorts. Wait, I'm lost on that one. He raped and suffocated 7-year-old girls, stuffing cellophane bags in her own shorts. Okay, put his shorts down her throat. He's a piece of shit. But how did the parent? That's why I hate when parents just let their kids away from them, man. I can't do that shit. I hate when I see that shit. That's why I stay away from motherfuckers, man. I can't stand to see careless fucking parents, and I see a lot of them. People who don't watch their fucking kids. Bitch ass adults who always want to talk. I can't stand that park shit and watching adults who just be wanting to talk. Like, watch your fucking kids and shut the fuck up talking to me. Bitch, I don't want to flirt with you. I got my kids in this motherfucker. I don't know none of these weird motherfuckers. I see people at this park in this area ain't got no kids in here, and it's taking everything in me not to go off on them. And now I'm getting mad at my kids because one want to go this way, the other want to go that way. I ain't one of these loose ass parents. Let the kids be. Because you're the same sorry motherfuckers. Your kids went missing. You're fake on the news crying, but responsible for losing these motherfuckers. Fuck that shit. Motherfucker, people just want to talk all the fucking time. Carlos Avena says Avena, 55, 3 victims, committed his crime in 1980, Los Angeles. What is that? Avena fatally shot 2 men, says, while still in a pink Camaro. Nigga stole a girl car. Says after his own car was disabled in a collision. Says he then drove the Camaro home and set it on fire. Says he also was accused of killing a jail inmate, says, while waiting trial. Yeah, he looked like a crazy motherfucker. Just can't get right. Life just spiraling out of control. Young, man. Johnny Avila says he got 2 victims back in 91 in Fresno County. Says Avila and 2 other men attacked and killed 2 women attending a party in Fresno. Piece of shit. Says one of the motherfuckers just don't know how to be player, have fun, chill, enjoy themselves, be out here on this old jealousy ass crazy shit. One of the victims had been gang raped during the party. So it must have been a drug-filled party. And these bitches put themselves in these fucking vulnerable, marked-ass positions. Says the other man, says, tried at the same time, were sentenced to life without parole, says, by separate juries. And this fool was expected to die. Joseph Avila. Wait, is this the same shit? Wait, no, that's Fresno. Joseph R. Avila, 47, 2 victims, 1991. In Riverside, says Avila confronted a group of men in Riverside early in the morning, says, and after a brief argument, says, grabbed a knife, fatally stabbed 2 men in the heart, says, and attempted to kill the third, says he was arrested 4 years later at the Los Angeles International Airport. Fuck was you flying to, fool? Florida? Fuck going on vacation. Okay, they got this in alphabetical order. Alejandro Avila, 41, 1 victim, 2002, Orange County. Says Avila kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and murdered Samantha Runyon. Why I heard that name? Says the 5-year-old standing girl, says, who disappeared in 2002 during a rash of high-profile child abductions. Fucking piece of shit. Samantha Runyon, I think, did make major news. What's this? 2002. Let me see. I thought that was like the remember the one that involved the one back when they made part of what the crime bill was part of. The Samantha Runyon was a big time case. I remember that one. But how did this motherfucker get in their house to steal this grub? And then this little wick, no pussy getting chump ass motherfucker would do that to a child that fucking young. Like that's why I'm doing this shit, to be like why executions are important. And then why it is important to say, stop overfunding police departments who don't prevent none of this shit. Yeah, these motherfuckers, police don't prevent shit. And they want to pour all this money into law enforcement for wasted of money. These are incompetent ass cops. They can't do shit. Like, and then you look at all these cases. And then Ronaldo, what is that? Alia, 66. He got 3 victims, 1985, San Diego. The Mexican mafia associate. Ayala and his brother Hector, says, killed 3 people and shot a 4th at a San Diego auto body shop used to distribute heroin. And even those body shops, I was thinking about this shit earlier about the body shops, which body shops can be also places where a lot of commissions of crime where people are disapart. You can dismember a motherfucker in a body shop. You do all type of shit. But motherfuckers don't know how to. People ain't serious about crime and solving it, and people don't know. People are just victims. People put themselves in shit. Want to hustle with sorry ass motherfuckers. Hector says Hector Ayala, 65. He got 3 victims, 85. San Diego. Oh, that's his brother. So this is the same shit. Avi and his brother says were convicted of triple homicide in 1988 for killing the 3 men and wounding the 4th during an attempted robbery in San Diego auto body shop. Says being used as a distribution point for heroin. And then Robert Beacon, 53, 1 victim, 95, Solano County. Says Beacon says who a decade earlier killed the man in Arizona, says by slashing his throat with a broken beer bottle. Says killed Deborah Simmons, says at the request of her estranged husband. So he's hired. A bitch ass dude hiring a person to kill his wife, like the same thing about the women doing that shit. Says the husband says who assisted in disposing of his wife's body in the trunk of a car, says that was driven into a slough, says was sentenced to 25 to life. So wait, the husband was given that? Says the husband who assisted and was given. How the husband ain't get fucking death penalty? And this is Paul Baker, 55, 2004 murder for a victim. Says Baker killed a 60-year-old woman, says who had taken him in after she met him at an Alcoholic Anonymous, a stupid bitch, lonely, desperate. Says during the trial, says he was accused of raping women, says he met at the recovery groups, says he interrupted his trial, says by screaming and smearing his face in his own feces. So the nigga sat in court, grabbed shit out his ass and spit it on his face. And they sat there and allowed this motherfucker to do that shit. Nigga, you better off bringing a knife in there to shank your lawyer. You can do all that kind of crazy ass shit in court. Salute to my brother SF City, Slick in the building. Salute. And then Matthew says there's a Netflix documentary on that Fernandez case, says with a girl or with the little kid, because that shit was big shit out there in LA. Because I think that wasn't too long after I had got out the fucking army with the case with that kid. Because that was in what year was that? Hold on, what year was that? Oh wait, no, it was a couple of years, but I was still back there in Cali when that shit. So this is 2013. So this is before. Wait, no. I thought I was still in LA when I heard this case happen. So was I out here? I think I was out here in fucking Vegas already. But I know I had seen or heard this shit. I think I was still in Long Beach. I may have still been in LA when this shit popped off. And then Paul Baker. So this piece of shit motherfucker is a crazy bitch putting herself in that position. Jason M. Bolcom. One victim, 1988, Orange County. Said Bolcom was in a Michigan prison, serving a 50-year sentence for rape in 2004. When DNA and evidence connected him to the 1988 rape and stabbing death of a 22-year-old woman in Costa Mesa. Motherfuckers can't help themselves. Fools can't help themselves. And let me see. Matthew wrote a comment. He says that case is 2013. Says the documentary is from 2020. Yeah, because I was thinking, I'm trying to think of the location I was in, because I remember that case with that kid and the mother, boyfriend, and her bitch ass. And this is Kelvin Banks, 43. He got two victims, 1996 crime in Los Angeles. Says Banks fatally shot a man in a wheelchair. Says and then raped and shot a 17-year-old girl. Says at the man's house. This fool is wicked. Says he later shot to death a man at an ATM machine. He was acquitted of a third murder. And that fool did that third murder. This fool is crazy. And then Anthony Banks, how do you say that? Bankston, 51. Says one victim, 1991, Los Angeles County. Bankston killed the man during a robbery in Los Angeles. So that's all they say. He robbed the motherfucker, killed him, and now his ass gonna sit the rest of his fucking life in prison. Michael Barber, 59, two victims, 2009, Riverside County. Barber strangled his wife to death and fatally beat his 6-year-old daughter, says, this piece of shit. After learning he was not the girl's biological father. Man, you ain't supposed to do that shit, but the bitch is filed for pulling that kind of shit. This is why DNA testing needs to be a mandatory fucking thing. Fuck crying ass bitches. Because you get some of these little raggedy whores who are the type of bitches that pull that shit. That I used to love having these debates with bitches and talk to them, even bitches I used to be with, and talk about how DNA testing should be a mandatory thing at birth. The baby gets swabbed, the father gets swabbed. The mother ain't got to, because this motherfuckers came out the puss. They get swabbed, DNA tested before they've signed it, and bitches be crying about that shit. I used to laugh at having these conversations with bitches. On top of having conversations with like black chicks that I don't fuck with black chicks. Oh man, I used to have bitches will cry over hearing that shit. I said that shit funny. That's why I like on my page where people follow me on Instagram and see me posting them snow bunnies. Cause there's bitches who I fuck with or used to fuck with who cool. Every bitch I didn't ever fuck with still be cool with majority of them. But they be watching that shit and they be mad. Some of them will write me and be asking why I'm always posting these white chicks. Because that shit bothered them. But that shit with DNA shit, and I'll just be funny because I'm a comical motherfucker when I ain't on no serious shit. And then why wouldn't, and as a dude, you should always find, admiration for the beauty of women and shit. But then this shit with the DNA testing shit of how many bitches will get pissed off about this shit. And then to make you think like, damn, are these bitches hiding secrets about a kid being the dudes or whatnot? But for this fool to react like that, but I had a homie who reacted the same way as the dude, except the homie killed himself and killed the baby after finding out he wasn't the father of that child. But this dude handled that shit wrong. You weren't supposed to do that shit. You're supposed to move on with your life. But you was a stuck, weak ass dude that you did that shit. And they ain't gonna take that out on that baby. Fucking idiot. And then Max Burnett, 71, says he got one victim back in 86 in Butte County. Says Burnett feuded, says for a year with a former gold dredging partner. Says he accused of stealing from him. A year later, says he and others confronted the former partner at a gold camp, says the shot, beat, and tortured him, says before stabbing him to death. And now your stupid ass is spend the rest of your life and looking at your picture when you're young, you look like a stupid motherfucker that this is going to be your fate because you just look stupid and the decisions you made will be stupid ones. Lamar Burnwell, 54 victims in 1992 in Los Angeles. Barnwell killed 4 people, says in one night, says including 2 men shot in the head, says while they were kneeling. Says that killing was witnessed by a police officer responding to a woman's screams. Burnwell's other victims, says a man and woman, says also were shot in the head. Says he was convicted of 3 counts of murder, says and 1 count of second-degree murder. Damn, this nigga vicious. But hey, you earned that damn sentence. You are not innocent, my brother. Raymond Barrera says they don't got a picture for him. He's so fucked up. Let me see. Make sure if that's a fluke. Oh, yeah, no picture. He got 3 victims, 2013 crime. Barrera says an admitted murder of the San Joaquin Valley street gang. Says Faley shot 3 men and tried to kill another one. Just vicious. Marco Barrera, 53, 2 victims, 97, Los Angeles County. So Barrera, Faley beat his. Oh, come on, homie. Why is he still alive? Why is he still alive? Like he did this shit somewhere in the South. He had been executed the next year. Says Faley beat his children, ages 2 and 5. Says and buried them in a shallow grave in the Angeles National Forest. Sorry, motherfucking. Mad at the mother because you couldn't fuck. You little piece of peon ass shit. Then they ought to castrate that motherfucker and then firing squad him. Joseph Barrett, 1 victim, 96 Imperial County. Said Barrett stabbed his prison cellmate to death. Says he was serving a life sentence, says for beating a man to death with a barbell, says when he was 16. Damn, fool, you just sinister, homie. Yeah, get your ass out of society. Yeah, you just fucked up in the head. And the Thomas Battle, 42, says 1 victim in 2000 San Bernardino. Says Battle was convicted of a 2000 murder in San Bernardino County. He killed 1 motherfucker, and they said, nah, fool, get this piece of shit out of here. Fucked up, trying to do it to show off and impress your friends, and now you're sitting in prison. Guarantee they don't even write your family, don't even come visit your stupid ass. Dummy. And then John Beams, 64, got 1 victim in 94 to Larry County. Let me see. Beans repeatedly beat his girlfriend's 15-month-old, and this ain't even his fucking kid. Let me guess, the baby was crying or something. And these bitches will leave kids with niggas they just fucking meet. These bitches are disgusting, fucking filthy tramps. God damn. The father of this kid ought to beat that bitch he ought to end up on death row for beating that bitch up, for leaving his kid around this punk. And this nigga got a smile on his fucking face and still alive, get to walk around prison. And come on, man. And then you get a stupid ass governor that was signed a moratorium sparing the life of these motherfuckers. Like, get the fuck out of here. No, damn well he did it. Why he fall under a moratorium? Get out of here, Newsom, with that dumb shit. Not saying not to be on that other shit, you motherfuckers who talk negative about Newsom, but on this shit, I don't rock with that. So Beans repeatedly beat his girlfriend's 15-month-old toddler, striking her so hard that her liver split and she bled to death. Says the child previously suffered a broken leg, multiple broken ribs, burns, bruises, and evidence she had been hung by. Was this a black baby? Hold on. This nigga hung a fucking baby. And then they left this nigga around. The child previously suffered a broken leg, multiple broken ribs, burns, bruising, and evidence she had been hung by the neck. Hold the fuck on. What hospital allowed this baby to go back? Let me see. This baby must have been black. Let me see. So this bitch died. He died from COVID. So COVID killed this sorry ass dude. Who was the stupid ass mother? Says Bean's death says the 44th death says of an incarcerated person in California state prison system. Man, they ain't execute him. COVID had to do y'all job. Fucking pieces of shit. Let me see. Child killer. So they just call him a child killer. Oh, let me see. I'm trying to find the mother of this kid. Cassie McMains. That's a white name, so it's a white lady. Ways case your church is died in the hospital. They need to show the mother since she bled to death. That nigga foul as fuck. To have hung a baby not even 2 years old, barely 1. And then these peon motherfuckers allow this dude to live and die. Yeah, that nigga foul. So this sounds like you describing the Epstein's Island. All these niggas, Trump and them be probably doing this kind of shit, but this nigga did it to an infant baby, somebody else's child. That's just like, man, this one motherfucker when I worked at FedEx, and I didn't like that motherfucker, man. I just got this thing where I just don't. I can just tell from motherfuckers. I can tell something off from motherfuckers, and I didn't like this dude. This is back when the time when I used to feel like I didn't like people. I used to always be like, man, I gotta fight this motherfucker. And I used to want to fight. I would have fought that nigga at that job. That'd been my second job losing from fighting. And I just didn't like this motherfucker. And it used to be crazy because the bitches used to think this nigga was cool and all this shit. I just could see something. This nigga was a bitch to me. I didn't like this nigga. And then he had this stance to where he used to be trying to act like he was. I just watched this nigga and observe him. And I used to be in my mind, I used to be like, nigga, I ought to go over and just slap this nigga or something. It was just something was just, I did not like this nigga. And then you see this fool, because he used to do this shit for people worked in FedEx, where the people who drive around in them carts that pick up the little cages that bring them to the offload areas and shit from the planes, then offload them in the little sorting little things and shit. He used to drive one of them carts and shit. And then I see the bitches be in there, oh, woo, like looking at this fool like, cool. I'd be like, fuck that nigga. It's something about this nigga. I do not like this nigga. And I used to say that shit because I actually wanted him to want to fight me, because we would have fought right on the job. When people say you get down where you get mad at, we would have fought right there, because it was just something off. I didn't like this nigga. And my senses be telling me when people are bitches. I got this great sense of detecting when people are bitch made. And I think the real guy, not this guy from this bullshit religion they teach you niggas in this country and around the world, but from a real spiritual connection with whoever God is, been blessed with this shit of knowing when people were bitch made, something off with them. And so it come down when I remember coming to work the one day, and they in there like, oh my God, you hear that? I never knew this nigga name. I just knew when they talking about it, it was this bitch ass nigga. And then there'd be this stupid ass bitch who was this child's mother that put them in this position. And how foul this nigga was. This nigga best friend how do I explain this shit? This dude's the baby that this dude will fuck around and rape this little 1-year-old. No, this baby was fucking maybe 1 or some shit, or a couple of months. This dude, I don't know, they try to use excuse he got high and had sex with this little baby, try to cover up. But the fact that this baby was his best friend's child, that now he's living with his best friend's baby mother. This is how disgusting these pieces of shit ass people are. But to any other motherfucker, he just look like a regular ass motherfucker that just try to be swagged out, dressed cool, you know. People want to kick around this fool. He's one of them type of motherfuckers. I seen through all this shit. Like, it's some bitch made about this dude. He living with his best friend's baby mama. Don't know if they got married or engaged. He do this shit to that child. They was like, when the bitches in there talking, run their mouth, hearing the story, probably knew all this shit. Stayed the way he did to this kid, try to cover up, act like something wrong with the baby. The mother seeing her baby ain't right. Take the baby to the hospital. This nigga and rip the baby's insides out. Baby died. Rested this piece of shit. If I recognize going through this list and seeing him on here, I would recognize this motherfucker. But that's no than this motherfucker hanging his girlfriend. That's what would be a trip with these bitches, because a lot of relationships fall out right as a kid is being born, and then these bitches trying to keep kids away from their fathers and bringing about these motherfuckers they don't know shit about, and then find out these motherfuckers are people who probably hate kids, abuse kids when you leave them in the comfort of them. That's no different than this bitch out here in Vegas, who the white chick who did that shit, left her baby with a nigga she met on online shit that just got out of jail, puts her little fucking 2-year-old child in the care of this nigga while this bitch go fly out to go see her mother. And this nigga kills this baby. Threw the baby over the wall into one of these little weakly ass sweet areas. I'll tell you some sorry ass people out here. That's why I got no sympathy for people who commit these type of fuck ass crimes. Frank Beccaro says his victims are not what he said, but this is the fucking suspect. 2 victims, 1994, Los Angeles County. Said I'm gonna just do a few more of these and get off here. So Beccaro, a drug dealer. I should have went on live earlier. Says a drug dealer and gang member says was convicted of strangling to death. Says 2 men over missing cocaine and injuring the third. So they sat there and let this nigga choke him out. These are some real coward ass victims. California Supreme Court in June 2016 reversed his conviction. Says Kentenny Beccaro says had been refused his rights to represent himself. Oh, represent yourself, nigga, and still go to prison, dummy. And then this is Beccaro, 1 victim, 99, Los Angeles County. Is this nigga black? He must be one of them Belizean ass fools who be having like Spanish names. Says Beccaro, says the Los Angeles gang member, says raped his girlfriend and then stabbed and strangled her to death. Said that she reported the assault to authorities. And then she went back, or he must have went back after, and they didn't arrest this fool. Good riddance to you, stupid. And then James Beck, 60, he got 4 victims. And then he got on a thing around his neck like he's some fucking Native American. 1990, Alameda County says a cult leader, Gerald Cruz, says use sleep deprivation and a cult belief says to manipulate followers into murdering 4 people and attacks with baseball bats and knives. Says Beck and Ricky, Varia says were condemned to death. Says while 2 others received life sentences. So Beck and and some other fool were condemned to death. So good. I mean, how about y'all go execute this motherfucker? So he one of these old cult people and got dumbass people following in his beliefs and shit. So now I guess he an Indian and shit now. And then Rodney Beeler says 64, says 1 victim in 85, and this is in Orange County. Beeler shot to death a man who unwittingly says walked in on the robbery of his home. Damn, walk right and getting home and this nigga in your shit robbing it. Stephen Bell, 51, 1 victim, 1992, San Diego. And this fool Bell stabbed to death, says 11-year-old son of the woman he was living with, says so he could steal her television. He a crackhead. Oh, God. These fucking crackheads, bro. Said Bell stabbed to death the 11-year-old son of the woman he was living with so he could steal her television and sell it for money to buy crack, man. And salute to anybody who has survived living with a crackhead parent. Like, fuck. They put, as a kid, you surviving that shit are lucky that none of this shit happened, because them crackhead and living in environments and the stupid shit that drug addicts do and the dangers they put kids in. Oh, my God. Sorry ass motherfucker. Michael Bell. Then said one victim. Said 1997. What is that? Stanislaus County. Says Bell killed the clerk of a convenience store during a robbery. I don't know where Stanislaus County is. So this motherfucker who did this shit. Goddamn, fucked your life up. Cameron Bell, 42. He 4 victims. Damn, fool. 2003, Los Angeles. Says Bell says an accomplice used a car sales ad to lure 3 people to a home to rob and murder them. You a sinister, homie. Says he fatally shot his girlfriend in the head. Says because he suspected she was stealing from him. Yeah, get his ass out of here. Get this crazy fool out of here. You fucking sick ass bastard. And you got Julio says, who is that? Julian Beltran says 3 victims, 2002, Los Angeles. Beltran slit the throats of his former girlfriend and her 2 young daughters. Damn, boy. You talking about pussy ass people, bro. The kids, after she would not reconcile with him. Why is he alive? I mean, Gavin Newsom, what the fuck were you thinking with this moratorium shit? The fuck out of here. Francisco Beltran, 31. 2014, Kern County. This nigga got stupid shit all over his face. Said during the robbery, says with gang members, says Beltran shot a man in the head, says he spoke disrespectfully to him. Now your life fucked over, stupid. Eric Bennett, 45, 1994 in Orange County. Says Bennett raped and robbed a woman, says living next door to him, says then killed another woman who had hired him to install flooring. Fucks be letting the wrong people in they shit. Richard Benson, 69, 4 victims, 1986, Santa Barbara County. Says Benson used a claw hammer to kill a woman and her 23-month-old toddler. The fuck? Says then repeatedly sexually assaulted the woman's 3 and 4-year-old daughters in a shed before killing them. These white motherfucking murders is sick. But the worst one is that black dude out of Fresno. Kevin says Bernardi says 40, but it's common for the white folks to do all this wick shit, even the Mexicans. So he got 1 victim, 2006, Los Angeles. Says, I can't even say this fool name. Bernardi said Los Angeles gang member was convicted in 2011 of a 2006 murder. So not sure what gang he from. They don't put none of that shit in here. And then Rodney Berryman, 51 victim, 1987, Kern County. He stabbed a 17-year-old girl to death during rape. Fucking non-pussy getting dummy. Johnny Birch, 58, says 1 victim, 85, says Birch and Jeffrey Horness, says were condemned for kidnapping a woman, says from a parking lot, Sacramento shopping mall, then raping and killing her. Non-pussy getting motherfuckers who do this shit. That's always the kind of thing you gotta watch for. Person look like they ain't getting pussy, watch them. Person just give off weird, like I said, the fool I worked with at Enterprise, I mean, not at Enterprise, but at FedEx, who did that shit to his friend's kid, that he was fucking with his friend's baby mother, and a bitch get with him. They get married, I believe they said they did. Just show what kind of despicable people you got in this world. And that's one of the things where I be like, I don't put that much into people. You don't find me falling in love with people like that. I never put that much on this. That's all like hearing that baby shit and this and that all top. Like, nah, we gotta be together for y'all be on that shit. I don't put nothing past nobody. The vibes may be cool, and that's early on hormonal shit. You didn't connect with a motherfucker and be feeling a certain way, thinking some shit is there and it really ain't. I've never been where I can let some shit go. You just don't know who people are. Lawrence Bittaker says he got 5 victims, 79, Los Angeles County. Says they call it Pliers. So I guess it's a nickname. Pliers. Bittaker says with partner Roy Norris, says Ron Los Angeles 79, says this toolbox killer, says that's toolbox killers murdering 5 teen girls since over 5 months. And if they didn't get caught, they would have continued with this shit. Look at this damn fucking mugshot. Kenneth Bivert, 46, 4 victims, 97, Monterey County. Says Bivert, says the prison gang leader, says serving life sentence, says for killing 3 people And incidents 2 days apart, says, who were fishing along Sacramento Riverbank, says when he was 17, stabbed to death an inmate, says he refused his orders, says to attack another inmate. So he ran his gangs and ordered these type of crimes because he's just sinister. And then Irvin Blackshear, 61 now, says 2 victims, 95, Alameda County. Says Blackshear killed his sister. Oh my God. So this nigga jealous of his sibling and shit. Killed his sister and her adult son, says, who had moved in to take care of his ailing elderly mother with whom he lived. Says he was schizophrenic. You gotta watch these schizophrenic motherfuckers around people. And they need to be thrown in institutions. Schizophrenic, says, and often delusional, says, and has stopped taking his medication. Says the jury rejected Blackshear's insanity defense. Sorry, motherfucker. That brain is a crazy thing. James Blair, 77, 1 victim, 84. And this is in Los Angeles. Blair says Blair gave gin laced cyanides to a neighbor he thought owed him money. Says it was charged with murder when she died 2 years later of complications from a coma induced by the poisoning. Despite a history of mental illness, says he was permitted to act as his own attorney at trial. Says he was moved to the psychiatric ward on death row. Yeah, get rid of his stupid ass. That nigga foul as fuck. Robert Bloom says he got 3 victims, 82, Los Angeles County. Says Bloom shot to death his father, stepmother, and 8-year-old stepsister, you piece of shit, whom he also stabbed 23 times in the face, says, with scissors. Damn, you a fucking horrible motherfucker. He pleaded insanity, was allowed to represent himself at trial. Bloom's sentence was overturned, says, but he was resentenced to death in 2001, and they still ain't killed this dummy. Cotton Bolden, 64. He had 1 victim, 1986 in San Francisco. Nigga black as a motherfucker. Says Bolden met his victim at a San Francisco gay bar. So this nigga a black ass homo. Says followed him home, robbed and stabbed him to death. Says and left the body wrapped in a blanket in the says in the bathtub. Fucking weird ass bitch. And then Paul Boland, 2 victims, 1989 in Kern County. Says Boland shot and killed his partner for bringing strangers to the area. Says where they were growing marijuana in Kern County. Says Boland shot the visitor. Says as well. Says killing one and wounding the other. So that's up there probably where I think Humboldt is his own county. So they're growing weed. So he brought the motherfuckers in there. Stephen says Bonilla, 1 victim in 87, Alameda County. Says after falling out with his nightclub business partner, Bonilla recruited 2 men to abduct and kill him. That's why you don't do business with other motherfuckers. Because now you have a lot of people, business partners falling out, fucking people related to motherfuckers. So it's trends with the type of shit that people out here getting mad and killing people with. And I'd never been into wanting to do business with other people. So this is Richard Booker, 39. He got 3 victims in 95 Riverside County. Booker at 18 killed 3 girls. 12 to 19 says after a party at their apartment. So from a party, your little weird looking ass gonna go do that shit. Cause there's something wrong with these dudes. We all grew up and seen people like that. Who you can tell something wrong with these motherfuckers. Christopher Box, 3 victims, 89, San Diego County. Box Emmanuel Flores Jr. says killed a woman. Her 3-year-old son says that a house guest during a robbery. Says they attempted to kill a 4th person. And you got your asses caught, and now your big ass sitting in prison. Kevin Boyce, 1 victim, 97 in Orange County. Says Boyce and Andre Willis burglarized a hair salon. Says robbing several people inside and killing an off-duty sheriff deputy. Says who had taken his wife to the saloon for a birthday treat. Says Willis tried separately. Was sentenced to 75 years of life for murder. Says in multiple consecutive terms of 25 to life. Says for robbery. And then this dummy right here is on death row. Let me see. So Richard Boyer says 2 victims in 1982 Orange County. Looked like he in Aryan Brotherhood or he Mexican Mafia looking nigga. So Boyer stabbed 2 elderly retirees to death during the robbery of their Fullerton home. Says his first conviction was overturned. Says and he was condemned again on says on retrial. Good. And this is Maurice de Boyette. 2 victims in 92 Alameda. Says Boyette, 19 and homeless, shot and killed 2 people who owed a drug debt to the man who had taken him in. So he's doing some shit, being a slave to a motherfucker, because he out here homeless and taking and following and showing loyalty and shit. That's the thing that money can get you, the power over little can't do shit in life as poor people. Manuel, what is that? Bar Camontes, 1 victim, 91 in San Diego. Says Barbara Camontes in 99 kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and stabbed to death a 9-year-old girl. Says who lived near him. He was catched 14 years later on DNA evidence. You piece of shit. These niggas is nasty ass grown pieces of shit, homie. And then it's that fool with cop killer. They don't show his story, but I remember this fool. He killed those 2 cops, and then that nigga in court sitting there laughing at that shit. This fool was crazy. He didn't give one fuck about what he did to those cops. Mark A. Bradford, 48, 1 victim, 88, Los Angeles, says threatened with eviction, says for failing to pay rent. Bradford raped, sodomized the new manager of his apartment complexes, then returned to, says, and slit her throat. Wow. While she at work. What a dirtbag, wicked motherfucker. She don't even own the complex, but she's the first line of what people view as representation of ownership. And so he rapes her, sodomized me. He puts something up her ass, says, and then goes back and kills her. So he left her, then went back, said, oh no, I got to finish her. Roger Brady, 1 victim, says in 1993, Los Angeles County. Brady was on federal parole, says killed a Manhattan Beach police officer, says he pulled him over for a minor traffic violation. What a fucking dummy. And this is Michael Brimett, says 1 victim in 94, Riverside County. Says Brimett shot and killed the man, says while attempting to rob him. Says while attempting to rob the dude. I thought the guy was trying to attempt to rob him. Shot and killed a man while attempting to rob him in his car. Says he told authorities, says he only meant to wound the victim. He only meant to wound him and got life in prison. Says William Branner, 66, says 1 victim, 1980, says Santa Clara County. Branner, a.k.a. James Willis Johnson. Oh, this is a made-up name he went by. Says killed the owner of a jewelry store during a robbery, says with 2 other accomplices. Spencer Breshore, 1 victim, 96, Ventura. Says Breshore, says a meth addict, says an accomplice kidnapped and tortured a man they were annoyed with, says killing him by dousing him with gasoline and setting him on fire. Man. And then this is David Bryox, how you say that? 1 victim, 84, Sacramento, says a heroin addict who sold guns and drugs. Bryox abducted and killed a woman, says to take her car during a string of robberies. Dennis Brewer, 1 victim, 86, San Bernardino County. Says AKA, says Dennis Mayfield. Brewer, aka Dennis Mayfield, in March of 86, shot a police officer with the officer's gun, says after the officer confronted him. So he got in a fight with the officer, overpowered him. It sounds like took his shit and blasted him. And now, homeboy, you about to sit your ass in prison and die. And then Ronald Brim, 2 victims, 2008, LA County, says Brim fatally shot 2 men and hurt 3 bystanders at a Compton Metro station following gang-related dispute. Then I was riding the motherfucking Metro during this time. This is about the time the economy started to fuck up because of Bush hoe ass. I was riding the train station. I don't know if I ever rode the train when this shit was shut down for a shooting. Matter of fact, it was one time we had to take the bus. I might have been on the train when this nigga had committed this shit. I might have been riding the fucking metro station during this time, because it was a time they at a state, I forget what station, we had to unload, and then the bus will carry you up to a station further up. And then Donald Brooks says one victim, or it's for Donald Brooks, not Donald Brooks said, but Donald Brooks has one victim, 1999, Los Angeles County. Says Brooks tried to strangle his former girlfriend after she left him to return to her husband. These motherfuckers is weird. So this bitch leave her husband, fuck with this. The husband desperate to take the bitch back. This weird ass nigga want to choke the bitch. Says he then put her body. Oh, so he did choke her. So he it says try to strangle. Says he then put her body in the back of her car. It says and set it on fire, killing. Oh man, fucking weird ass dummy over some pussy. That's what you get. Now you're in there with a bunch of dudes. Vincent Brothers. I've been looking at this fool case. This that principal dude. Y'all gotta watch this nigga case right here. Y'all have to go check the case of this Vincent Brother motherfucker. You talk about a fucking idiot. This fool, the principal of a school. I forget why they say he did that shit. But he tried to play, the way they caught this fool. I'm going to give a breakdown. Vincent Brothers, 54. I've been recently watching this nigga's shit. He got 5 victims. He killed his wife, her mother, and then I think they 3 kids. And was just moving on with his life. Says brother, a former Bakersfield school principal, killed his wife, 3 children, and mother-in-law so he could start a new life without supporting them. He didn't want to take care of them. I think they had split up too. He had split up with her. I think they got back together or some shit. This fool act like he went to Ohio to go take care of his mother. The way they caught mine, he had moved on with his life, took the life insurance policy, was building a new home, continue on with his teaching, his principal job and shit. The investigators, think the FBI or whoever it was, got on this case, was looking into it, where he go out, act like he done drove a car all the way to Ohio for his mother. They find out he let his brother use his cards and had his brother to purchase shit. So it looked like he's in Ohio buying shit. The rental car, they run the rental car. And this is the thing, like I also do this shit when I'm watching movies or films, to where I pay attention to certain shit, like certain trees. I can find out, this is over here in this region. When I watch movies, and movies have certain settings, they're supposed to be somewhere. And you can just look at certain land features and building structure. But these fools go in depth to where they'll look at species of animals, species of plants. They may see certain leaves in your car, know what region. So when they go and they get that damn rental car he driving, they look and find out that this rental car got, I think it was a wasp or something stuck in the radiator. And these bugs only fucking are native of California shit. And they were like, no, it's no way that he had this car from out of Ohio or whatnot. He took this car, drove that shit all the way to California, whatever it was, when they found the species of bugs. And then they start running the investigation of looking at this fool, and caught that fool, found out he was never in Ohio. The purchases made off his cards was with his brother and all that other shit. And that's a fact. Yeah, protect your children. And it says a demon principle. Yeah, that motherfucker Brothers is cold-blooded. Just something was just off with this motherfucker. Picasso says, I hate motherfuckers, says that stand at the door, of establishment, what is that? What are you writing? It says and get standoffish, says when I'm trying to get through. Says I walk away, says, but God knows I need my peace. Says God knows me. Says the $5 Indian, says been getting $5 footlongs in prison, says with that choke chain off for real. Oh, fat ass $5 Indian nigga. And he says, is this something that that's in the fruit? Says, are the water out there? Says all of California, says needs to be under watch. Shit, don't let me go into Texas death row. Shit, it's probably some real super sinister shit on Texas death row. The craziest one to probably be like the Midwest and shit. The Midwest be really, it's something with that cold weather make them niggas in there weird. But yeah, this nigga foul ass dude. Hope he fucking die a horrible death in there. And he killed them little kids and shit. And Albert G. Brown, one victim, 1980, Riverside County. It says Brown waylaid, a 50 says Brown waylaid. What the fuck is waylay? A 15-year-old girl says that she walked to school. Says rape and strangle her to death. Says then made phone calls, says the police, to give clues to where her body could be found. 3 years before he raped the 14-year-old girl. And did they know he did that shit and not arrest him? Like these people out here weird, man. And then John G. Brown, one victim, 1980, Orange County. During a police chase from a bar, Brown fired 8 shots, killing 1 officer and wounding 2 others and 2 civilians. And they arrested this fool. They didn't gun him down. Andrew Brown, one victim, 1988, Riverside, says Brown shot a woman, says driving a customized red truck in order to steal the vehicle's specialty tire rims. Fucking low life motherfucker. Trying to look cool and shit for dudes. Did this shit to steal this shit to look cool for dudes. Salute to my brother Jashawn. Salute, bro. Just going over these weird motherfuckers on death row and shit. Stupid shit these idiots be doing. And then Stephen A. Brown's one victim, 1988, to Larry County, says Brown and another condemned man, Charles Keith Richardson, raped and murdered 11-year-old girl, says drowning her in the bathtub. Fucking nasty motherfuckers. And then Sherhan Brown, one victim, 2007, San Bernardino County, says after breaking into their home, Brown raped the woman, says it slashed her throat and stabbed her mother-in-law to death. Fucking idiot. Goddamn idiot. Now your stupid ass serving life in prison. And then what is that? Latice Brown, one victim, 2008, this in LA County, says Brown was a serial rapist, says who killed a 16-year-old girl, sexually assaulting and suffocating her, then setting her body on fire. His victims include 5 other women. Big, nasty, no pussy getting ass chump. May you rot in prison, bitch. Michael Brown, one victim, 2000, in Kern County, said Brown was convicted 16 years after stabbing Kern County woman to death. Says the case was based on DNA evidence as collected after his sexual assault of 4 other women. So he's in there having raw dog sex, leaving his DNA in the bitches, and they got your stupid ass. Thought you got away, huh? You fucking weird nigga. Can't even talk to a broad and get laid. I never understood why motherfuckers would do this kind of shit. Stanley Bryant, four victims, 1988, Los Angeles County. Gang members, Brian, Donald Smith, and Leroy Wheeler, says fatally shot 4 people, including a 2-year-old toddler, in a drug-related dispute, says with 2 of the victims. And this is in 88. Donald Brown, Leroy Wheeler. Let me see. I'll try to see if I may have known them names. And then we went over this fat, ugly, dumb bitch who killed 3 of her children, says it then went to the police to blame the murders on her estranged husband. This is a 91 out there in Riverside. Killed her 3 kids. Like I say, death row full of nothing but white and Mexican women. You only got 1 black woman, she a dyke. A crazy little looking dyke whore. And this is Jeffrey, how do you say his Boutonniere, says 1 victim, Riverside. Says Riverside County back in 2002. Boutonniere says in his accomplice Glenn Jones says beating an 18-year-old girl to death, says to stuff her body into an oil drum after she told police about their burglary activities. And this is why it's important for people to not get involved in police situations, because they ain't gonna protect you. All that telling and ratting on motherfuckers and wanting to be model citizen like some of these weird ass pieces of shit at school, try to teach people to do this shit and and be honest and all that. Stay out of that shit. Let these motherfuckers, let's involve somebody you related to and all this other shit, and you doing that, then yeah. But outside of that shit, don't get involved in these investigations, because these sorry ass people within this criminal justice system ain't gonna protect you. They're just not going to do that. They get you caught up in other shit. These motherfuckers from prison can order shit against your motherfucking dumb ass and leave you out here vulnerable. You have to protect yourself. It ain't your motherfucking thing for you to be looking at some shit happening and want to go tell to the police. And that's exactly what happened to this fucking victim here. You stay the fuck out of that shit. Don't involve you. Let this motherfucker commit this shit. So this girl was killed by this accomplice, beaten to death, after she called the police to tell these people about a burglary these dudes is committing. And then Jerry Burnyard says 2 victims in 1979 in Joaquin County. Says Bunyard acts Erlyn Popham on November 1st, 1979 to kill his pregnant wife, Elaine, so that he could be with another woman. That's the white thing. That's what these white dudes be doing. They be doing this whole ass shit. They get a new piece of pussy and they lose their mind and got to kill everything. Fucking weird bitches. So that he could be with another woman, says, with whom he was having an affair. Popham received life with the possibility of parole, says, with the possibility of parole. So the other fool killed the lady. He get possibility of parole for what? He just guilty of this dumb motherfucker. So Michael, what is that? Bergener, 1 victim, 1980, Riverside County. Bergener says was convicted of murdering William Arias, says during a convenience store robbery. Says the state Supreme Court twice reversed his death penalty, says, but affirmed it in 2016 on the 3rd hearing. Fuck y'all keep reaffirming him. Not take the motherfucker out. And it's Sean Burnham, says Sean Burney, 1 victim, 1992, Orange County. I'm going to do a few more and get up off of here because I can go on this shit all day. I should have started this shit earlier. Says Bernie and 2 other gang members, says Rob. I might do this shit tomorrow. I might do part 2 of this shit tomorrow. I kind of do want to go through all these pieces of shit ass people. Says Bernie and 2 other gang members, says robbed the man, shoved him into the trunk of his car, then conducted several drive-by shootings before stopping, opening the trunk, and killing the victims. What the fuck? Nigga, you is crazy, homie. You is a crazy lunatic ass motherfucker. These niggas in the trunk of his car, hearing these niggas, bop, 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 bop. Wait, it says several drive-bys, right? Several drive-bys. Then said, all right, I'm gonna pull over. Oh, you gonna let me out? Nah, nigga. I missed the other motherfuckers. Bop, bop, bop. Yeah, oh my God. Boy. Let me get a piece of paper to note where I'm at to where I'll start tomorrow because I do want to go through these people. These are some crazy ass people. And this is Nathan Burris, says 2 victims, 2009, Contra Costa County. I think this is the dude. Is he the too insane dude? Says Burris killed his former girlfriend. Says a Caltrans toll booth worker. Says in a transit bus driver after he suspected the two had developed a romantic relationship. So he killed the motherfucker over thinking his girl was fucking with him. That's why people go too far with that love shit. He killed his former girlfriend, a Caltrans booth toll worker, and the transit bus driver. So she's fucking with a bus driver. Or he suspected that shit. And now his stupid ass sitting in prison. Fucking idiot. He in there looking happy. He probably got a dude in there. Andre Burton, 1 victim, 1983, in Los Angeles County. Let's see. Burton robbed 2 women and stole their truck. He used the vehicle, says, to drive to another location where he shot a man in the face twice to steal a bag of coins. Nigga, it better be $1 million in these fucking coins. What year is this? This nigga definitely was on crack. Or PCP. Maybe crack hadn't hit LA yet. This nigga definitely a PCP head. He robbed 2 women and stole their truck. Used the truck to drive to another location where he shot a man in the face twice to steal a bag of coins, and then shot and killed the man's mother. Damn, you a fucking horrible home, man. You're a horrible motherfucker. Look at his mug shot. He looking down like, damn, I didn't mean to do that shit. That was some dumb shit. I'm listening to these motherfucking charges. Am I that goddamn stupid? And you got Raymond Butler, 3 victims in 1994, says in Los Angeles County, says Butler killed 2 college students, and while in jail, says awaiting trial on that case, stabbed another inmate to death. And now you about to rot to hell. And then these fools don't realize, man, how fucked up they gonna be like some of these old fools they showing on this shit who fucked up, bedridden, and all that other shit. Robert Cabrillo, three victims, 2009, Los Angeles County. Says Cabrillo shot a rival gang member to death, strangled a woman, says, and had her buried on a mountainside, and watched as an accomplice strangled and stoned his cousin to death. So he let somebody kill his cousin. Wait, or killed the victim. Says strangled a woman and had her buried on a mountainside, and watched as an accomplice strangle and stone his cousin to death. Oh, so his own cousin. He's a piece of shit. And I'm sure his family disowned his stupid ass, foul ass dude. Mickey Cage, 2 victims from 1998, Riverside County. Says after Cage abused wife and children fled to Puerto Rico, Cage went to his mother-in-law's home, says, and killed her and his wife's 16-year-old brother. Fucking dumbass idiot. Maybe these fools in these jealous rages and shit get in relationships and think they just own the motherfucker they with. Motherfuckers ain't got no playerism about him. Tracy Kane, he looked like a crazy ass motherfucker. This a crazy motherfucker. Let's see. He definitely killed his enemies or some shit. He got 2 victims, 1986, the crime, Ventura County. Says Kane robbed and killed an elderly couple, says, who lived next door to his father. Oh, he's a fucking idiot. Fucking idiot. I thought he was some gang related shit. Sorry ass dude. Anthony Kane, 41, 2 victims, 2004, Los Angeles County. Kane stabbed to death his elderly aunt and uncle. Foul ass dude. Says both 75 in 2004 after cashing the $6,000 checks against their bank accounts. These are the type of people need to be put to death. Definitely people need to put to death. Deshaun says all these motherfuckers, says, was targeting kids, elderly, and females. All these motherfuckers in PC. They need to all be put on a death penalty fucking bed and strapped down with needles in their arm and lethal inject they stupid asses. He says, I'm looking at the list. I'm looking at the list. Says how any normal person actually deals with these weird motherfuckers. I don't know neither. That's the thing be bugging with people in society. That's why I be like, I don't fuck with a lot of people. And why I be like, when you look at this shit with relationships, I be like, man, if like with relationships, if you ain't, you evaluate a motherfucker from a standpoint of where they are mentally. You look at them from a psychiatric level and shit. You got to make sure people are well balanced. You ain't dealing with emotional bitches who cry about how somebody else done them. Because now if they crying about how somebody else done them, you may end up being the last draw that they bitches really break and you be the motherfucker they killed while you in your sleep or some shit. Or you dealing with just all type of shit. You just deal with people from the psychological standpoint. And then people in life, you got to deal with a nephew like this stupid motherfucker. Well, I'm pretty sure this aunt and uncle did all type of shit for her. And in his chase, and I'm pretty sure he didn't even do shit with this money he took from them. Piece of shit ass dude. And then Adrian Camacho, 1 victim, 2003, San Diego. He says Camacho killed an Oceanside police officer, says in a shootout after the officer says attempted to stop his car, says where Camacho had concealed heroin. These Mexicans known for shooting back at the cops. And then Osman Canales kidnapped the woman, drove her to the bank, says to empty her account, says, and then returned with her to her business where he killed her and her business partner, says, by slitting their throats. Piece of shit ass dude. Oh, hold on. Let me go back to his. I didn't announce that one. So you got 2 victims. It's 2007, Los Angeles County. And Elias Cappers, 42, 2 victims, 1998, San Diego. Cappers abused a husband and a wife, says, while robbing their convenience store, raping a woman and setting their bodies on fire. And may you die in that motherfucker horrific death. Like, these niggas killing motherfuckers for shit that don't make any sense. None of their crimes make any fucking sense. John Capistrano, one victim, 95, Los Angeles. Says Capistrano, 95, strangle and cut the wrist. Says and cut the wrist, cut of a damn. Whoever wrote this shit right as bad as some of y'all in the comments. Capistrano in 1995, strangle and cut the wrist, cut of a man's whose apartment. They can't write. Says the apartment he robbed. Says, and in the second incident, invaded the home of a couple, raping a woman. Says in the same month, says he invaded 2 more residents and attempted to kill one man by cutting his throat. Says and beating his head with a baseball bat. Fuck. And that person didn't die. So only one person died. Fucking weird ass motherfucker. Let him enjoying prison, smiling and all that shit. And imagine you working in prison as a CO. That's why I don't rock with people that talk this shit about COs and all that shit. I look at it from a standpoint. Imagine you be a CO and these are motherfuckers you in here as your job day to day to be around these type of motherfuckers. Paul Carasi, 2 victims, 1995, Los Angeles County. It says on Mother's Day, Carisi, how you say it, says took his mother and his former girlfriend out to dinner at Universal Studios, then stabbed them to death in the parking garage in front of his 2-year-old son. His girlfriend at the time of the killing says participated in the stabbing, but was not condemned. Wow. So he killed, they say he stabbed his mother. He took his mother and former girlfriend, then stabbed them to death. So they showing both of them. He stabbed them to death in the parking garage in front of his 2-year-old son. His girlfriend at the time of the killing says participated in the stabbings, but was not condemned. So what they mean not condemned? I thought he killed them. I'm lost on that one. Look at the smile on this wicked motherfucker's face. And let me see, that should be the last one. I'm going to come back on here tomorrow. It says Refugio Cardenas, 32. He got 2 victims, 2003, Tulare County. It says Cardenas shot 2 men he believed to be rival gang members. And these fools out there in foreign country. So Dwayne Carey, 1 victim, 1995, Los Angeles County. It says Carey stabbed to death a woman he encountered during the daylight robbery of her home. So she come home and this bitch ass dude in her house. I'm going to end with this one. So let me cover this one. So like I say, there's a lot of black people on Dwayne. But the black people murders is be like the robbery shit because of the drug addict, the crack shit. And when you look at the years in which they commit their crimes, you see more black people on this shit is from the 80s. So 79, there's been blacks start like into the gang shit and committing a lot of robberies and shit. So from 79 to 80s, you see them with the robberies, really commission the robberies or rival gang motherfuckers. And the 2000s, just really gang related shit, or some of these motherfuckers on drugs. But the shit I'm reading with the white folks, that sinister shit. So let's see. We'll go through this list. Let me see how far I got down. So I was at the dude Curry. Got through all these dudes. Do them. Let me see. The last dude we did was, where are these fools at? No, something about right here. So this is the last dude I ended at. So this Curry, there's more of these motherfuckers. But there's a lot of black people on this shit. A lot of black people on this shit. You see more and more black people added to California's death row. As well as there's a significant amount of whites and Latinos. I wonder if I could sort this list by race. So a lot of the whites are like much older and shit. But the crimes committed by white folks, some sinister, nasty ass shit involving kids and shit. Not to say the black folks ain't doing it. There's some weird ass black people on here, but it's common with the white folks doing this weird shit. It's a lot of these black people on here. But the weirdest one is that one black dude up there in Fresno. Let me see. How can I sort this shit? Does it sort by race? Well, I can't sort it by race. Oh, white. Let's see. These are the. Oh no, this is a lot of whites. So these would be all the whites on death row. Shit, it's a lot of white people on here. Let me sort it by black. Is this Charles Manson? Oh no, that's that a collar motherfucker. Collar ended up turning out to look like Manson. You go to black. So you go to list of blacks. It's a lot of blacks on this motherfucker. If I was to count that, tomorrow I'll count that shit because I'm going to go on earlier and count the number of who is who, what is what. Let's go, Hispanics. Amazing because Hispanics don't have that long history in the California prison. Well, no, this is going into the 80s. That's a dumbass statement to make. So yeah, I like this. This is not that bad. I enjoy this shit. So, but that's all I got. Say what's up to y'all. I'm out of here. Says this is a female. Says a female. Yeah, a lot of these bitches get you smoked. But the other crazy thing, a lot of the depending on the prosecutors out here, they ain't charging a lot of these bitches that have set up a lot of commission of crimes. And he says it's another one. Says you ain't get to. Says that sick that I seen on the list. Wait, which one? Says they got dude from Brim. Says the Swans on here. Oh no, I did. You talked the one with Devil and shit. With that dude Devil from Swans, and then the dude from Brim's. I'm not sure who that is, but I'll get on it tomorrow. I'm gonna be back on here tomorrow, so I'll set up another one for this shit tomorrow. But I'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace, peace, peace.